Paul, Javier, Deadstroke, good morning. Can always count. You guys are like the first three every morning. Kind of can count on that. Same way I can count at one of the cats yelling at me every morning. Javier, I have taken a lot of extra fruit we had from our 4th of July party. And yes, that was 10 days ago, but it was still good. I've made strawberry gelato. Today it's watermelon sherbet and also raspberry gelato. They're chilling overnight. That's great, Deadstroke. It's awesome. You don't know how much we appreciate you guys.
Got that right. So we're going y'all this morning. All right. I can go with that.
You should go with it all the time. You live in the South. You should say fixin'. I'm going to work in a fixin' today. It was. The strawberry gelato is phenomenal. I'm very happy with it. We'll see how the next two come out. But somehow the daughter didn't realize I had an ice cream maker. So, we have an ice cream maker? I'm like, we've had one for years. And then she yelled at me for throwing away her snow cone machine that I threw away 3-4 years ago because no one ever used it.
Oh.
That's stretching it, Paul. That is stretching it.
Yeah. Besides, he's got 2 cats, and one of them will work in quite a few.
All right, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Tuesday. Hope your week got off to a good start. And as always, thanks for being with us. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm great. I'm doing well. Excited about the day. Wife returns today. Daughter and I got a couple more things to do to get this house perfect. She's going to come home to a clean house, laundry done. She's actually got tomorrow off, so I want her to enjoy. I think she has Thursday off too, for that matter. So I want her to be able to come home and just relax for a couple of days. So making sure I whip the daughter into shape, which is a struggle because she's a slob. It is killing me. This is God's trick on a father who left crap in his room his whole life because she is paying me back tenfold.
But if you had to make a deal and you could say to, the gods, or they say to you, okay, you can only have one. She's really neat. Okay. Room is impeccable. Or she's going to fall in love with cooking. Which would you choose?
Fall in love with cooking. I'm getting neither. I mean, she cooks eggs. It's not like she's fallen in love with it.
Oh, okay. Well, but I mean, you think it's awesome that, a couple, 2-3 times a week, she's making you breakfast.
I think it's fantastic. I think the fact that she is now starting to fend for herself. If I can get her to do all the dishes after every time, that would be remarkable.
Okay. Well, she just turned 12. I mean, it's still something to work for. She's going to be home for 6 more years. I mean, she's got to have stuff to work towards.
I told her last night she is so incredibly lucky that my son Jacob came before her. Because last night I went to say goodnight and I walked into her room. She is a fan of this Starbucks pink drink. So I refused to buy them for her. I think I mentioned that on the show
Right.
But I showed her how to make them herself. We bought the necessary things, and she has one or two a day. Whatever, it's fine. It's, cran lemonade or some crap like that. I'm not too worried about it. It's nothing that's that bad. But she tends to leave a glass with the ice that's melted, and then there's a foam on top, and it sticks. It drives me nuts. And when I go up to her room, there is always a glass or two. And last night I went up to her room, and I'll be damned, but there were two sitting there, and I just stare at them. And I said very quietly, honestly, quietly, I said, honey, we really need to make sure that those glasses go downstairs and they're rinsed out, put in the dishwasher before I lose my mind. And as she was walking downstairs, in which she took them and said, Dad, will you grab my other cup so I can fill my water up? Yeah, I'll get it. I'll grab the other one because, what kid doesn't need, 3 different drinks in her room? And I walked down the stairs and I said, you have no idea how lucky you are your brother was first. No, because I want to snap, and I am maintaining this very quiet voice when the things in my head are much louder.
Right. In a past life, I wasn't this quiet.
No, or this nice. No. So it's a struggle, but I know this is just a mean trick being played on me.
Totally.
Because these are things that I did. My room was always a mess. I think I've told the story before that there were, I believe, tens of thousands of dollars of baseball cards that were thrown away because they were on the floor in my room for a long, long time. And my mother went nuts. And I mean nuts, like nuts, screaming, yelling. She never really hit me. So I can't say it was physical. It was more mental. She went crazy, threw all of the baseball cards into grocery bags, because at that point in time in life, we had grocery bags. And, my mom was one that would fold the grocery bag up and they went in the laundry room. And she filled grocery bags and then threw them all away. And I came home and it's on me. But so this is a little trick that life is playing on me. This is turnabout's fair play, and this is what happens.
Yep. These are the tops baseball card gods just messing with you.
Boy, that 76, I think that was the year of the small card. Some of those could have been worth some cash. So did you watch last night? Did you watch any home run derby? I paid attention to it online because I refused to pay for Netflix. It wasn't worth it to me for one night to re-up my membership.
I did. I didn't enjoy it.
Really? Because it looked like it. I mean, by reading of it and watching it, there was some come from behinds, and Walker there, the guy that won it, walked off in a couple of rounds. So it seemed on paper as if it was pretty good.
Yeah, but I wasn't watching it for that. Okay, because I could care less who wins the home run derby. I was watching it to see Netflix and to see the job that they were doing and the announcers and whether they were adding to it or subtracting. And I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like some of the camera angles. I thought they were late. I mean, we missed quite a few bat meeting ball. Okay, which is
important in a home run derby, David.
Well, especially since there's nothing else going on. It doesn't matter if they hit a sharp line drive and somebody makes a diving catch. All right, doesn't matter. So I don't know. I didn't think they did a good job broadcasting it. And in fact, and you and I have commented about this when it concerns Chris Berman and Dick Vitale, in which all of a sudden, in the last 10 years of both careers, people have come out of the woodwork to criticize Berman and Vitale for being Chris Berman and Dick Vitale. We have both said, where you been the last 40 years? That this is their thing. Okay. It's genuine. Okay. And you and I have interviewed, okay, we've interviewed on the phone Dick Vitale, but we've sat and talked to Chris Berman in person, and he's a little more animated at times on television, but he's the same guy.
Very much so.
And I found myself, and some people may lose their minds when I say this, but I really found myself missing Berman. Okay. I just, Matt Veskursen, I know he does a lot of baseball, but there are times in which he's more equipped to do golf. I mean, he's not an animated guy. And I thought I was also going to get more out of the supporting cast. So I watched it for Netflix to see the job that they did. Because remember, they got crushed for Christmas Day NFL. They're trying to do their own thing. They're not just hiring people who work at other networks and renting them for the day or two. They're trying to form a sports division here. And I just haven't found them to be good at broadcasting sports yet. And considering everything is going in their direction, they need to start getting good at this sports thing. If you're going to bid on all this stuff and get it, then can you be at least pretty good in broadcasting it? That's all I'm asking for. Can you be pretty good? I take a 7. I'm fine with a 7 out of 10. I'm watching for the game anyway, but don't detract from the event. When I'm missing swings and the bat meeting the ball in a home run derby, I mean, quite frankly, what the hell are you doing?
One question for you, because I did not watch. Not a second. Not a highlight. Nothing. I read. I know who won. I know how they won. I saw he took out Caminero and then took out Schwarber in the final. So is the bat hitting ball, was it because pitches were coming too fast? I mean,
No, they were just late. The director was late in getting back to what was going on, in my opinion. So it's like you see it occasionally. The cardinal rule in football broadcasting, there's 2. 1, never miss a snap. Never miss a snap. If you miss 1 snap a game, that's a failure. That's an F for the game. And the NFL has got a thing about the extra point. They don't want you to miss the snap on an extra point. I mean, nobody misses the kick, but they may get to the snap after the snap's already gotten to the holder. Okay? The NFL will call the network and go, what the hell's going on? Practically missed an extra point. It's one of the reasons why I think we should do away with the extra point. Okay? Because the other thing it does is it gets in the way of the replays. Okay, if you took the extra point out and the 30 or 40 seconds spent after the touchdown was just 3 different camera angles, okay, it'd be much better television. And after all, what is this? It's a TV show. But anyway.
I think if we lost the extra point, unfortunately, David, it wouldn't lead to 3 replays. It would lead to 2 more commercials. That's my only fear. But when you say that, I understand your point completely. And there's part of me that thinks you're right. And then the cynic in me says, well, if they did away with the play right after the big play, that means we would just get more commercials.
Maybe.
But don't know. Miller and Moulton. Glenn Davis will join us today. The World Cup is back. Had a text late yesterday of someone who is an American that's unhappy about the start times of the World Cup. I don't think he's wrong. I don't think a nation that's hosting a tournament should make it that difficult on its citizens to watch a tournament they are hosting. I understand the reasons why. I get it. But if they want an American TV audience, you know what they might want to do? cater to the Americans. They're spending between Telemundo and Fox a lot of money on this sucker. The starting five, that's 25 minutes away. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332516.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Oh,
I'm telling you, college football fan, you're going to be disappointed when you look at what goes on in September.
boy, it's a shame too, because November was such a good college basketball month.
You know, if you're an ACC fan, I guess SMU at Florida State and SMU at Louisville is a good September. Like, and I'm not joking. Like, LSU and Oklahoma have really good Septembers. Michigan's is decent because they have Oklahoma, and I think Iowa's going to be all right. I'm telling you, this is... I'm at the ACC right now in the Phil Steele book, trying to look for horrible games, Deadstroke. Horrible. Like, if Florida State were relevant, it would be good because they play SMU and Alabama, but they're not relevant. In North Carolina, TCU and Clemson, I mean, that's as good as it gets. If you have two games in September, like Florida's September is not bad. Tennessee's isn't bad. Tennessee's got at Georgia Tech, home for Texas in the month. Like, LSU has Clemson, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. That's the best schedule in the country in September. And it ain't close.
What is that again?
LSU has Clemson, at Ole Miss, and A&M all in September. That's a good September. Like the national champs don't play a meaningful game in the first 7 weeks of the season. Funny, Adam, because I went to a game and had to sign up for all the Gator crap last year. They just sent out a text, season tickets for $525. You don't get the same seat for every game, which is weird, but you can get all 6 games for $525. Like Texas Tech's supposed to win their conference. Even though Sorsby's gone, they'll still be a national story because of that. At Colorado, October, I guess Houston, September 18th, supposed to be good. BYU, they've got nothing unless you think Arizona's a game. Utah, nothing. Iowa State, September 26th. Iowa State's going to be dreadful. I give Notre Dame a pass because they actually scheduled games, and I don't know how long ago they scheduled them, but they were supposed to play Wisconsin. I mean, they do play. They host, or they got Wisconsin at Lambeau, and they host Sparty, but Sparty sucks. I mean, Sparty's a last place Big Ten team. I listened to Bud's. This was just misery loves company. I listened to Bud's Michigan State summer school while I worked out yesterday. And when they're talking about Sparty, if they have a great year, they go to a bowl game. In football, you know how hard that is? That'd be 5 straight years they'd miss a bowl game in football. When you're in a Power 4 conference, that's hard to do.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Football magic numbers are 46 and 57. 46 days away from the college football season starting, although if you're with us on Twitch or YouTube, and you're able to hear our conversations during the commercial break, Mark Miller was lamenting how weak the early season college football scheduling is. So maybe 46 days till they start officially playing. But Mark made it sound that in a lot of schools' cases, it's like 70 till they play a meaningful game. And 57 days away, 8 weeks tomorrow, Seattle, New England to kick off the NFL season, 46 and 57.
This college football thing's been bothering me for a while. I mean, I literally, because the Phil Steele book came a couple weeks ago, and I haven't sat down and just read through it much yet, but I listened to Bud's Summer School. That's kind of more fun for me, listening to the podcast than reading the synopsis on a team. And I've been going through different teams and listening while I'm on the treadmill. It's a good little distraction while I work out. And as I get excited about college football, there are very few teams that give us much in September. LSU, they've got a really good September. LSU, if they somehow are 4-0 at the end of September, and they won't be, and I understand all the reasons why, but based on opponents, I would say LSU, if they're 4-0 come the 1st of October, I'd have no problem ranking them number 1 in the country. But we have to do eye tests and all that stuff, and they're not preseason number 1. So all those things will stay. Here's LSU's first 4 games. Home for Clemson. Home for Louisiana Tech. At Ole Miss. And home for A&M. That's pretty solid. I mean, especially when you compare that against the defending national champions, the Indiana Hoosiers. Wow, saying that out loud is still weird. Indiana has 4 home games to start their season. North Texas, Howard, Western Kentucky and Northwestern. By the way, they follow that up with at Rutgers, at Nebraska. Whew. We don't have to pay attention to the national champs, I guess, until October 10th at Nebraska.
So what will they be, 5-0?
They'll be 5-0. They will have pounded everybody they play.
Well, there's two phenomenons that I think are very much at work. One, now that the SEC and the ACC have been made to by their commissioner to play 9 conference games instead of 8, well, that takes another non-conference game off the schedule, and that's where you have a chance to really upgrade your schedule. And teams are like, no, we got to play 9 conference games now. Okay. In most cases, they're taking a pass on playing a quality non-conference opponent. Because, for half the schools out there, what's the name of the game? Getting to 6. At least making sure we're going bowling. But, I think that's very much at work. The other thing that I think is at work, Mark, with the exception of Oklahoma, LSU, and about a half a dozen other schools.
Texas, they're playing the Buckeyes, Michigan, Oklahoma. So, yeah,
Right.
there are some out there.
Right. But with the exception of those 6 to 10 schools, we still have not had a team, a Power 4 team anyway, with 3 losses make the national playoff. With the number at 12, 9-3 is not good enough. You got to be no worse than 10-2. And to me, it's another reason why I'm in the minority on this show. I actually think going to 24 will be better. Okay, first off, look at the World Cup. It turned out to be a lot better than a lot of us thought it was going to be. I think the same thing could happen in football. But the other thing is, with the playoff field being that big, it allows you to have a lot more leeway and flexibility in scheduling.
It does. David, you're right. But I would counter with a lot of these schools, it's very important to have as many home gates as possible where they make a boatload of money.
Yep.
Doesn't matter who they play, they force it down their season ticket holders' throats. And the season ticket holders don't back off because they've got to have those tickets. It's the most important thing in their lives. Whether it's Florida, Texas, Michigan, Ohio State, it doesn't matter. And in the early part of expansion, whether it's 16 or 24, I wonder how many teams are going to think, well, 9-3, we get in. I know they should, because numbers would show, history would show who would have gotten in past years. But you and I have talked about this extensively for the past couple of years. How do alumni bases react to 8-4, 9-3? Not very well. And I know getting into the playoffs is now everything. But to me, until the fan demands better games, I don't know if they'll schedule better games.
And to me, I think the fan would trade an extra loss for a spot in the playoff. Since it's become everything, kind of like if your basketball team doesn't make it to the tournament in March, you've had an unsuccessful season. Never mind, now that the tournament's expanding to, 76? I mean, if you don't make it to March, my goodness. But, we'll see. We'll see. Mark, this sport may not get its act together till the early 2030s, when the next playoff contract comes up for bid, when the Big Ten TV deal that's in place now expires, I think, after the 2030 season. The ACC deal goes to like 2033. For some reason, Mark, it seems to all be crystallizing that it's going to take the powers that be a few more years to solve some of these issues.
Now, I wonder if any schools start having ticket selling problems if it becomes a big deal. Like I brought up during the break, last year I was lucky enough, an acquaintance of ours, more so of David's, hooked me up with Florida Georgia tickets. And because of it, I had to sign up for the Gator website because that's how I got the tickets, the Gator app. And now I get all their emails. David, they sent out an email last week that I could get season tickets without having to give them a downstroke of any money. It was $525 a ticket, 6 games.
So that's around $85 a game.
Yeah, but I mean, usually it's $85 a game plus your
Right.
$4,000, $5,000 per seat just to be a part of that.
Right. Even if it's 500, but yeah, it's some sort of down payment. So yeah, well, bunch of mediocre to poor seasons in a row. Things are getting expensive out there. Even a Gator fan would go, I don't know.
But you're right in that 9-3 will get you in a 24. I don't know what 16 will look like, but what has to happen to me is a 9-3 has to get in ahead of a 10-2 that schedules 4 cupcake games non-conference. Like if LSU's 9-3 this year and Indiana's 10-2, LSU deserves it for what they scheduled to go play Clemson, where Indiana's playing Four Sisters of the Poor. That has to happen.
Well, and he's done it since he's been on the scene.
And it's been 2 playoff trips.
Yeah, and he's pulled no punches. And when he was asked about it both years, he said, we're trying to win games. We need to win games. The left-hand column is very important. You need to have double digits if you're going to make the playoff.
And I can't blame him on that. And the fact that every year he's brought in basically a new group of offensive players, and nothing like letting them work through any problems they might have.
Do you have a sleep problem but don't want to wear a CPAP mask? This is Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. The mask wasn't working for me, and I didn't think I had an alternative. I do. We all do. They have such simple alternatives with greater success than the mask. Visit sleeptreatmentdirect.com. That's sleeptreatmentdirect.com. And if you are like me and your CPAP machine isn't working for you, it's time for a change. Call 239-444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Sonny, I don't know if that's still true. I don't know how into going to see a Patsy, for Indiana, it's true. I don't know if the Florida kids go. It's 100 degrees out, and Florida's playing who early in the season? I mean, they're not good right now. So maybe they will. Maybe you're right, Sonny. But I mean, Florida Atlantic and Campbell. I just don't know. And by the way, they're not the ones paying the premium prices for tickets. She said it was okay. I mean, she loved it. She loves him. So she was fine with it. They brought in, like, a lot of the band sings a lot of the high notes that he can't anymore. And towards the end, she said he was pretty tired, and the crowd was kind of singing a lot of songs, like one of the encores he did. The crowd sang most of it, but she loved it. I mean, it's literally her favorite artist. So it's either that or Buffett, and Buffett's dead. So, I mean, those are like her two favorites. Fortunately, I got to take her to see Buffett. We actually did it in Pittsburgh, 5-6 years ago, something like that, a while ago. And I bought really good seats, and I enjoyed that. It's the only time I had seen Jimmy Buffett. So her critique of it is going to be jaded. I mean, but Sonny, can you blame him? Would you stay for Campbell? Would you even go to Campbell? I don't know if I would. I went, like, when I was at Michigan State, I went to see Central Michigan, but I had buddies that went to Central Michigan, and hell, it was usually a game. And they weren't half bad then, but we went because our buddies either played for I had friends that played for Central. So I don't know. Guarantee that, Brian. My kid did that at ECU all the time. He'd go to the tailgate. He'd go home and watch Georgia at 3:30. Okay, Sonny, freshman. So how many students does Florida have? Around 30,000, 35,000? So let's just say 32. So that's 8,000 freshmen, of which all of them aren't football fans. I mean, these are 100,000 seat stadiums, Sonny. And if they're sending me emails saying season tickets are $525, they're having trouble selling tickets. Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Glenn Davis, an hour from now. World Cup semis get underway today. This afternoon, France and Spain. Tomorrow afternoon, England and Argentina. Glenn's been broadcasting World Cup games on the international feed. We'll get his preview of the semis coming up. Right now, it's time for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
Home Run Derby last night in Philadelphia. 2 of the 8 contestants were Phillies. Bryce Harper, who said this will be his last Home Run Derby, and Kyle Schwarber. Harper went out in the first round. Schwarber made the finals. He had the lead. And 24-year-old first-time All-Star Jordan Walker, the St. Louis Cardinals, was in a bind. And he needed to damn near run the table if he was going to win the Home Run Derby. Well, he hit 6 consecutive home runs, and he edged Kyle Schwarber 12-11 to win the home run derby. First Cardinal to win it, which when you think about it, Pujols participated a few times. Rays third baseman Junior Caminero, who had a great first round, sputtered in the second, and Walker beat him in the semis. The All-Star game is tonight, 8 o'clock on Fox. Dylan Cease for the American League. He pitches for the Jays. Christian Sanchez for the National League. He pitches for the hometown Phillies. By the way, Mike Trout was asked immediately yesterday. It took 2 minutes into his presser. And Trout's the starting center fielder, and he's batting leadoff. And 2 minutes into his little press event, he was asked, is he ever going to waive his no-trade clause and accept the trade to the Phillies? He smiled and said, boy, I didn't expect that question today. But he gave the answer that he's been given for years. I play baseball, and I'm an angel. And I have a no-trade clause. That's that. So we'll see. World Cup semifinals, Spain and France, 3 o'clock today on Fox. Spain has given up 1 goal the whole tournament. France has scored 2 or more goals in 4 of the 5 matches they've played in this tournament. What gives? Spain and France, 3 o'clock today on Fox from Big D. England, Argentina tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Golf, British Open, they've released tee times. 1:35 a.m. Eastern is when they start teeing off, which is 6:35 in the morning, I believe, across the pond. But 1:35 a.m. Eastern, also, everybody goes off number 1. There's no splitting tees at the British. Scotty Scheffler, Tyrrell Hatton, Bryson DeChambeau, the first featured group, if you will, they go off 4:58 a.m. Spieth, Fleetwood, and Rahm go off the tee next at 5:09. Rory, Xander Schauffele, Matthew Fitzpatrick, they don't tee off till after our show tomorrow, 10:15 a.m. The last group goes off the tee at 11:21 a.m. Eastern. It takes them almost 10 hours to tee everybody off at the British, all off the first tee. The British being held this year at Royal Birkdale. It was last held there 9 years ago when Spieth won his only Open Championship and came within 1 major, the PGA, of the career Grand Slam. He's yet to win a major since that win at Royal Birkdale. Only 2 games in sports last night, both in the WNBA. LA lost to Atlanta 101-92. And best team against worst team, and it was a good game. Minnesota beat Phoenix 104-100. We were talking college football earlier. Mike Norvell hired Tom Herman. Remember him? Houston, Texas, FAU, where he failed miserably. Tom Herman going to be an assistant to the head coach and essentially help him out with calling plays, because Norvell's going back to calling plays this year, even though he's given someone the title of offensive coordinator so that he could give a friend of his a raise. And something to pay attention to. This is a big court case. This is either going to be the biggest win the NCAA has had in court in a generation, or it's probably going to spell the end of all of the attempts at trying to reform college sports without getting Congress's input. Mark, 11 Division I athletes across multiple sports are bringing a federal class action lawsuit against the NCAA challenging their new eligibility rules. You know, everybody's got 5 years of eligibility no matter what, but that's it. Most of us like that rule. But obviously, there are people with 6, 7, 8, 9 years of eligibility lately, and they've been getting paid for those 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9 years. And in the new rules, there won't be a year 6, 7, 8, or 9. Therefore, there will be no money. And these 11 Division I athletes are saying, yeah, you can't do that. And the NCAA is like, yeah, we just did. And they're like, yeah, we'll see you in court. This is a big case. I don't know where the NCAA goes if they lose this case. Honestly, think about it. They've had chaos for a few years now. They try to build a fence around the yard and then, fix up the yard. And a court says, you can't put a fence around the yard. And the kids can play wherever they want and do whatever they want. Oh, boy. So, big case, worth paying attention to. And at 14 minutes before the hour, that was Starting Five. 5 big stories you needed to know here on Miller and Moulton.
Wonder if we'll get any news out of Michigan today. More things are being leaked from that story. Don't know what to believe at this point, but now you have a couple of, former coaches. You have a former coach suing Michigan. Michigan, at some point this week, Ward Manuel, the athletic director, is going to resign. He's not going to get fired, in my opinion. I think he will find a way to walk away from this without being fired. He's been there a long time. He's one of theirs. So I think your case is bigger in terms of the future of the NCAA. It ain't close. But the Michigan one's more salacious, and I'm interested to see, a lot of people who cover college football are requesting the investigation paperwork, the Freedom of Information Act. They want this. Public university. They want their hands on what's in this. And a lot of talk that, the one coach is suing, saying, they knew of cheating long before, and Manuel knew of cheating. And so I'm interested in what information gets out there and how true it is, because right now it's mostly speculation. But there's a lot of there, and it will be interesting to see how, if at all, this, I wondered this morning, David, let's just say worst case scenario on the football stuff. They prove what we kind of all knew. Everybody was aware of the Connor Stallions thing. Would the NCAA take away a title in 2026? Like, I'm fascinated. Will they even bother to take away a title anymore? Would they? Should they? I don't know. I really don't.
Well, I think we've both been pretty vocal about this. We both felt then, and I don't think anything's happened since to lighten our opinion. We feel that what Michigan did was cheating. We think it's the worst case of cheating that's ever been documented in the history of NCAA college football, to be brutally honest. Okay, we thought it was obvious. Okay, and that the penalties and we use that term loosely, that Michigan football got were a joke from both the Big Ten and the NCAA. I mean, an absolute joke. Mark, I don't see, even if there's a ton of new information, I don't see either the NCAA or the Big Ten now all of a sudden deciding to save face that we got to drop the hammer.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
would
see
never imagine the Big Ten would do it. I'm with you there. The NCAA, I'm probably 60-40, 70-30 that they wouldn't, but I never know what they're going to do because, David, they never know what they're going to do.
The other thing, does it matter what the NCAA says when it concerns college football? They don't run the sport. Honestly. I mean, if I were Michigan and the NCAA were now to decide to hand down additional penalties, to me, that's a court case, and I think it's a pretty easy one. The University of Michigan, would you like to present your case? Yes, Your Honor, they're out of their jurisdiction. Therefore, everything is null and void. The defense rests, Your Honor.
So we'll see what becomes of all the information, just how many people knew what was going on there with a lot of different things.
Yes.
A lot of different things.
The number of controversies is alarming. Okay. The number of controversies is tough for Ward Manuel to defend because either you knew about some or all of this and you let it go, which is fireable, or are you telling me you weren't aware of the guy in the office with the computers? Okay. You weren't aware of the head coach and his special assistant that you signed off, by the way, on paying her nearly $100,000 a year. Okay. You weren't aware about Connor Stallions and what was going on with the football team. So you're not aware of any of this and you run the athletic department. Yeah, that's a really bad look. I almost wish you had said you were aware of all of it and you let it all go.
By the way, 2 weeks from Thursday, Michigan takes the podium at the Big Ten Media Days. And that's why I'm fascinated about this. Don't you think whatever happens with Manuel has to happen this week? They got to have a couple of weeks to get their ducks in a row to get ready. And I know the football coach doesn't answer questions on behalf of the AD. It's not going to stop the folks from asking.
No, but to me, if I was Michigan, let's just say Manuel gets fired or quits, I just throw an assistant AD up there. Whether I hire a new AD or not, I'll just throw an assistant AD up at the podium, and that person can just say, "Yeah, that was, out of my area code and jurisdiction." And
But you can't. To me, you can't have Manuel still as the athletic director 2 weeks from Thursday. That's all.
Well, you're right, Mark, because he'll get a grilling. Okay, grilling.
He won't show. He won't be there. And that would even be a worse look. So I think it's the end of Manuel as the athletic director at Michigan, and I think it happens this week.
He's 58 years old. He makes $1.9 million a year. He's got 4 years left on his contract.
It's why he ain't quitting. I mean, it's why he's not getting fired. He's going to resign. He's going to get a package to walk out. They will take care of him. He's going to fall on the grenade, and they will pay him and pay him well for it. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe. and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Federal indictments to whom, Paul? Because I'm not aware. I mean, protests on the campus of the University of Michigan are nothing new. I mean, Michigan, and this is, I'm not going political here. They are a very, very liberal school, incredibly. I mean, they've had the lowest fines before pot was legal in Michigan. I mean, it was like a $5 fine to smoke a joint walking down the street in Ann Arbor. You know, they've done a lot of things that are, very left of center for years. That campus has been that way. So I don't know about what protest, Yes, it is, Sonny. They like to play catch. I don't want to. Oh, here, you're full? I don't even like this. Well, thank you, I guess. Why did I'm full? Did you eat gelato? Yeah. Okay. Can you bring me a napkin, please? Thank you. Avocado toast is the most overrated breakfast item on the planet. And I like guacamole.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Tuesday. Glenn Davis with a little World Cup semifinal preview. France and Spain, 3 o'clock today. England, Argentina, 3 o'clock tomorrow. Mark, some folks have asked in our chat room, because they know we pay attention to this stuff, have any of the Saturday World Cup TV ratings come in? Remember, we were making predictions yesterday as to what we think the semifinals will do at 3 in the afternoon Eastern, midweek. Well, we made our predictions yesterday, our guess as to what the ratings will be. Apparently, Saturday afternoon, the England-Norway quarterfinal, second largest TV audience on Fox. It averaged just under 20 million viewers.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really good.
25 million during extra time. Argentina, Switzerland, which was 9 o'clock Eastern and went to extra time, did just under 16 million.
Monster numbers.
Now, it's a Saturday.
Exactly.
Which is not normally a good TV night, but sports can transcend the days of the week. It's a terrible TV night for dramas and comedies and what have you. But 19.5 million for England and Norway, just under 16 million, Argentina and Switzerland. Both matches went to overtime. I mean, 3 of the 4 quarterfinals were amazing because Spain scored right at the end of regulation in like the 89th minute to beat Belgium. So
we had a text early this morning that's really upset about the semis. Just one.
okay.
But can anyone explain the stupid FIFA start times? Semifinals can't be watched by working Americans. We're hosting the damn thing. Schedule should benefit us. I'll DVR it and not listen to sports radio on the way home from work. I understand. If you're a big fan of this tournament, you're screwed. It's 3 o'clock today. It's 3 o'clock tomorrow. I don't know what to tell you if you work till 5. I really don't.
Okay. If we were scheduling the semifinals before the tournament starts, we're thinking at least half of the semis are going to come from Europe, right?
Right.
And conservatively, we're going to say 2 out of 4, could be more. As it turns out, it's 3 out of 4. Well, depending on where you are in Europe, that's either 5 or 6 hours ahead. If we schedule this sucker at even 7 o'clock in the States, Eastern, that's midnight or 1 a.m. start time over in Europe, where half of the semis, or as it turns out, 3/4 of the semifinalists live.
David, I understand why they did it. Even if it were an hour, and I'm not joking, if it were 4 instead of 3, people could get home. And some have longer commutes, but we all know, a lot of people work from home. People can sneak out a little early. You could get home for the second half. You could. They have
Right.
made it for someone who works till 5 o'clock, unless it goes to extra time, you can't see it live. Just an hour would have given you the second half. That's all. That's all I would ask. And because I understand the reasons why. The global audience is bigger than the U.S. audience when it comes to this tournament. And it will be for both semifinals matches, and it won't be close.
So you would have catered a little bit to the American television audience as opposed to the world audience.
Just an hour. They stay up later over there than we do, David. They take naps. They don't have dinner until 8, 9 o'clock at night. This would have been right after, 9 o'clock start would have been right after dinner. Spain would have been fine. They'd had a nap, gone out for some tapas, and then caught the game. It'd have been perfect. Big party. Plus, it's summertime there. Do they even work in the summer in Europe? They're all on holiday. I like that, by the way. I'm not anti-holiday. I want everybody to understand that.
Well, and goodness knows I'm not anti-nap. And I'm not anti-eating between 8 and 10 o'clock at night either, whether it's my 3rd, 4th, or 5th meal of the day. Okay.
So I did put up a poll question. I've got to get it up on X. What game are you most excited about today? The All-Star game or the World Cup semi? Not tomorrow, not England, Argentina. France and Spain. What could be a snooze fest if Spain possesses the ball for over half the game.
Yeah, I'm hoping France plays aggressively, or else you're right. This is going to be, smoke them if you got them time.
So I'm with you. I don't even know if I'll turn the All-Star game on tonight. I'm not kidding. That's how much All-Star games. And this is the best of the 4 All-Star games, and it's not close.
No.
The others aren't even in the same stratosphere as the Major League Baseball All-Star game.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll turn it on either. And I will, even though I have low expectations as to the quality of I have low expectations as to the excitement level of Spain, France. They may both go out there and play the beautiful game, but this World Cup's been exciting. This World Cup's been loaded with scoring chances and a lot more goals than is normally scored, and a ton of late goals. Mark, did I hear the stat that we're up to close to 3 dozen goals have been scored after the 90 minutes?
I know the number was in the 20s, so that makes sense. Since then we've had the comeback by Belgium. That was just in group, and then since then Belgium had the big comeback. Argentina scored 2 in extra time. So yeah, that you're probably right.
So I thought before Saturday the number was 31, and we had a few scored Saturday. But so 3 o'clock today, and that's not pregame show. That's 3 o'clock Eastern. In theory, it's done by 5. Worst case scenario, it's done 20 to 6 Eastern. That's if we've got PKs. And for those who are big Everblades fans and, go back to the early days, and I'm not talking PK O'Hanley.
Well, good man, right there.
It's a good impression.
Yes. Well, it wasn't a tough one.
No.
A man of very few words, but a very funny human being. I get catering to the world audience. I understand where this guy's having a problem with it. Now, there are others that are texting, can't wait for it to be over.
Well, only 4 matches left, and that includes a third place match.
And now, people complaining about the rules and, reminding this guy it's a global sport. Yes, I get that it's a global sport. We understand it. I would have made an hour difference. That's all. They could have started at 9 and 10 o'clock over there. And that, I don't know what to tell you. Game's over by midnight. Trust me, they'll watch.
I will say, you could be pretty sarcastic if you're in the room and you're trying to decide what time to start these. And if somebody in representing Europe goes, we can't start it then. That's 11 o'clock. That's midnight. That's 1 a.m. And that's when you just lean forward and go, do you really think if we scheduled the match for 2 a.m. that the same people that would have watched at 9 o'clock at night won't watch at 2 a.m? I mean, seriously, like if you live in France or Spain, you're not going to watch this match no matter what time we schedule it? Seriously? Could actually make the case we need to schedule it at 7 or 8 o'clock at night for our U.S. audience. Europe's going to watch. Besides, they don't go to work at 8 a.m. They'll be fine.
So, poll question, what are you more excited about tonight's All-Star Game, World Cup semis? And I know the history of the All-Star Games. It used to be something that I lived for before every game was on television. I didn't get to see many of the teams play. And David and I have talked about this before. When we were young, both of our teams stunk. So the highlight of the All-Star Game was the one guy getting announced in the starting lineup, and then whether or not in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning, he would pinch hit or pinch run or play an inning of defense.
John Stearns, whether or not he got in to catch the 9th inning or not. I mean, the 2 catchers in front of him were Bench and Carter. So, my only chance to see John Stearns was, would they let him catch the 9th? In Seattle in the late 70s, that infamous All-Star game where Dave Parker made the throw, Lee Mazzilli, Mark, with a pinch hit homer to tie it, ended up scoring the winning run. Oh, my goodness. For a New York Met to be instrumental in the All-Star game, that was monstrous.
Yeah, it took until, the early 80s, and then Trammell and or Whitaker would make it.
Yeah.
And play. The Trammell was regarded as a pretty good player by about 82. So I would get some Alan Trammell. But before that, outside of the year Fidrich started, David, there wasn't a lot there.
Nope. Little Jack Morris, little Alan Trammell, Lou Whitaker, and then you got a lot of Lance Parrish.
Yeah, he was the guy for a lot of years. I mean, the Tigers had a run there where they had starters in the All-Star game. But prior to that, from when I remember baseball, Pat, and this was past their little run in the 60s and 70s, obviously, there wasn't a lot there, David. I'm trying to even think who the hell started, and it's not coming to me. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Oh.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Glenn Davis will join us in a little more than 15 minutes' time. We'll preview the semifinals. France and Spain later today. England, Argentina tomorrow. It was France and Argentina in the World Cup final 4 years ago. We'll see how this sucker plays out. I picked England. I'm rooting pretty hard for England because of the story. France, Spain, Argentina, they've all won World Cups this century. 60 years for the Three Lions. 60. They're the Maple Leafs. 60 years. I think it's also been 60 years since they even played for the World Cup. I think the best they've done since is the semis. So I'm rooting for the story. We'll see what happens. All right. We mentioned the numbers earlier in the show, Mark. 46 days to the college football season, 57 days, 8 weeks tomorrow to the Seahawks and the Patriots. Quick sidebar. Did you see the sale price for the Seahawks?
Yeah, $9.5 billion.
Yeah. Or
That's
just
a little bit of
under.
cash.
Yeah.
Don't know what to tell you. These things are going for far more than I think they're worth. But obviously, people a lot smarter than me are not only the ones setting the price, but the ones paying the price. And since all we do is watch sports on TV and the television contracts keep going up, obviously, these are very good businesses to buy.
So a couple months ago when the Seahawks went on the market and word came out that they were looking for 10 plus million and people were laughing. And then some experts said, well, they ain't going to get 10, but they can get between 7 and 8. And then like 3-4 weeks ago, those same experts were going, well, you know, they might get 9. I really don't think they're going to get 10, but they might get 9. It came pretty damn close. But a minority owner, the 49ers, is, I guess, now going to be the majority owner. But right around 9.25 million or billion. I'm sorry. And that's far and away. I mean, you know, Mark, think back, what was it, 3-4 years ago? The Commanders went for 6. And didn't the Broncos go for a similar price like 2 years ago? And now we're to 9.
Yep.
Now
And
we've had
sell his minority stake in the Niners, obviously, which he will, or give it up, or whatever the case may be. But I'm amazed that we're having like damn near individual owners anymore. And I know he's got corporate interest and things of that nature, but I'm surprised that these aren't just all major companies buying these now. Because these are no longer, you know, there was a time that really rich people bought franchises to prove how rich they were. It's gotten beyond that in a lot of cases.
Right. I'm rich. In fact, I'm super rich, but I don't have the liquid to be able to pay for that whole thing myself.
Right. So, I do wonder when some of the families that have owned teams pass on, and that's what happened. Paul Allen, he died. That's why this franchise was for sale. So I think we'll see more of this, David.
Now, there have been 10% of teams that have sold prorated for more than $9 billion. I think Stephen Ross, sold 10% of the Dolphins for $1 billion or more. Obviously, that prorates out to over $10 billion. The Giants did the same thing when they sold 10%. I think they got 1 or 1.1 billion for 10% of their franchise. But this is the richest so far. But 57 days to the NFL season kicks off. 57 is an interesting number. Anybody jump out to you?
David, I have to be honest. My days of remembering numbers have passed me by. When I look them up, I'm like, oh, yeah, he wore 57. 57's not a number that resonates with me at all. Like, I'm looking going, oh, I'll be damned. He did wear 57. I had to research this a little bit. And there were, I'll be honest, the guy who's regarded as the best to wear the number is a guy that if he were in front of me, I might not know who it was.
Are you talking Ricky Jackson of the Saints?
Ricky Jackson.
It's funny. I guess he is regarded as the best, Hall of Famer, and he had a long career. But the first guy I thought of was Dwight Stevenson, whose career was cut short by an injury. But Mark, when he was playing center for the Dolphins in the early and mid 80s, as he was playing, people were talking about him as if he was already the greatest center of all time. But his career ended on one play, and I think he ended up having like a 7-8 year career. But that was who I thought of with 57, was Dwight Stevenson.
And obviously on the Clay Matthews from the Browns, Clay Matthews.
Right. Which, by the way, him and Jim Marshall both, all the games they both played, neither in the Hall of Fame. A lot of people upset that neither one of them are in.
Mo Lewis from the Jets, 57. Pretty damn good player right there.
And infamous because he's the one that hit Bledsoe and knocked him out of bounds and forced the Patriots to go to their backup quarterback. Kind of changed things.
I don't really remember, honestly, don't remember him much as a player because the NFL wasn't my favorite sport from 74 to 86. But we all know him from his post-football work.
Right.
Tom Jackson.
NFL Countdown.
He was the man.
Him and Berman.
Right.
Did nearly 30 years. I think his last game, Mark, was the Super Bowl loss to the Giants. I think that was his last game. And I remember him because, he was a good pitcher for two teams. Could even say he was a very good pitcher. And one of the teams was mine. And he has a spot in Mets history because he's still the only pitcher for the Mets to throw a no-hitter. Johan Santana.
And Johan Santana and Francisco Rodriguez.
Oh, K-Rod?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But, Johan Santana, Francisco Rodriguez. From NHL players, I kind of went through the list. I did this yesterday, there weren't a whole lot that jumped out at me, like really not any.
There was one good player, I thought, or at least the one, because I could only think of one baseball and one hockey. But didn't Kevin Dineen did he wear 57 or did he wear a number like it?
He's not on my list, and I screwed this up yesterday, but this clearly says that I've got 57s. Dineen's not on the list. guys that played a long time. Tyler Myers has had a long career, but David Perron, another guy that's had a long career. He's played for nearly every team in the league. So at one point, he probably played for your team.
So famous number 57s.
Not any great players in hockey. Only 2 players have ever worn 57 in the NBA.
Huh.
Mike Muscala, who played with the Celtics a couple of years ago. And you remember, of course, Hilton Armstrong with the Golden State Warriors. And if you do, I'm sorry.
Well, there must be a betting background if you do.
Right. You had him on an over-under, and he didn't get indicted, so it was on the up and up. We will switch gears and talk about the beautiful game. France and Spain later today. The first of 2 semifinal games. England, Argentina tomorrow. Glenn Davis, who's been with us throughout the World Cup. We'll talk about that next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Oh, Tim, you're a Giant fan for sure. If you remember Byron Hunt. Next thing you know, at 54, you're going to go Andy Hedden. Before both of them, I think there was Dan Lloyd.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Thanks so much for being with us, Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton X. He's been broadcasting World Cup matches on the international feed. He's a huge part of the Houston soccer scene, and that city certainly represented itself well in the World Cup. He's host of the Soccer Matters podcast. Former player, he's Glenn Davis. Follow him on X at Glenn Davis Soc, S-O-C. Don't add letters to it. I've done that a few times. It's Glenn Davis, S-O-C. Glenn, David, and Mark, good morning. How are you?
David, Mark, good morning. Thanks as always for having me on your show. Very exciting day as we're getting into the semifinals.
Well, this has been such a great tournament. Before we get to the semifinals, this is, soccer will continue to get better. Athletes get better. I never deny that. But not just Messi and not just Ronaldo. This has been, Neymar. There's a couple others. This has been probably the last World Cup for a lot of elite, maybe some of the best players to ever play the game. And they've been impressive if this is indeed their final performance.
Yeah, for sure. I'd put Luka Modric in that category as well. Granit Xhaka. I don't put Neymar in the same room as Cristiano Ronaldo and Leo Messi. Absolutely talented player, but I don't put him in the same room. But yeah, there is some pretty amazing storylines as the curtain closes on some of these careers. But I think it's also pretty amazing to watch athletes, in their late 30s, 40s, like Vozinha, the goalkeeper for Cabo Verde, and to see these guys perform at this level. So this has had something for everybody. It has the players that we begin to identify that are younger now, but also the curtain closing on these exceptional, amazing careers, which I think we're all pretty lucky to have watched a lot of these players in recent times.
Has there ever been anybody like Holland? Like, to me, he's the DH in baseball. He could do nothing for an hour. Okay, I mean, not even be on the field, so it seems. But then it also seemed as if after that hour, he'd touch it once and he'd score. And it's like the DH who, is invisible for an hour. And then when he comes up and he finally makes contact, it's a 3-run homer. I mean, he was remarkable. And to think that so many people were rooting for Norway in the World Cup because that team was so damn likable. But has there ever been anybody like Holland?
Well, there's another guy that kind of stands around and doesn't do a lot when the ball's lost, named Leo Messi, right? In a different way, right? In a very, very different way. So, first of all, I think one thing we always have to remember, the simple fact that these guys are on the field affects an opponent, right? They've always got to be conscious of where they are. Their movement has to be tracked. They're influencing the game just by being out there. So I do like your comparison, though, to the DH because, yeah, it's Mbappe in a lot of ways is in that category too. He doesn't do any running when the ball's lost, but you could be dominating and controlling the game, and then in the blink of an eye, he's got 2 goals, right? These guys are game changers. They're finishers. They're paid the most in the world because they're the guys that can win games. Holland has an innate sense of where the ball's ultimately going to be. He's a threat on the counterattack. But I also think the other part of him that has made the World Cup fun is just the enjoyment he's had in the United States, representing his country, the pride he has in his country, but also he's fallen in love with the U.S., the cowboy hats. I mean, the guy is a marketing machine just by smiling and standing there. I saw these little kids coming up to him. It's like he's Santa Claus. They all want a hug from him. It's incredible. It's incredible.
And Glenn, you're right on with that, because I have a 12-year-old who's at soccer practice right now as we speak, and I can't get her to sit down and watch a game with me. But when Norway was playing with Holland, she's all in. My son was just here. He had his Xbox with him. He's much older than she is. She wanted to be Man City because she wanted Holland on her team. So, I mean, he's turned her into a fan. And if I can get her to sit down and watch a Man City game with me, I'm all in a couple of 3-4 weeks from now. Can we just go back before we go forward to the semi games? I find it fascinating that, and we all like to complain in this country about our sports. And here we are watching soccer once every 4 years, and we know everything about it. But this tournament has not lacked controversy. Whether it's been the red card overturned, whether it's the ball hitting the wire, whether it's been close offside calls. When you look at the controversy of this World Cup, because the World Cup's been nothing short of sensational. I mean, there have been so many great games, so many late goals, so many beautiful things that we can talk about, but there's not been a lack of controversy. Is that normal for a World Cup in your estimation, Glenn?
Well, I think because of the use of technology, you may open yourself up for more. And the video assistant referee originally was being brought in to be used for, and I'm going to quote the words exactly, clear and obvious infractions, right? So making sure the ball fully crossed the line, things like that were obvious. Clear and obvious was the way it was described. But now we're micro using the video assistant referee. Did a ball touch a strand of a guy's hair on Croatia? Because if it did, then the guy who scored is offside. But if it didn't touch that strand of hair, the goal would have been legitimate, right? Like, people have already forgotten about that one. The VAR incident with Egypt and Argentina, when they called it all the way back.
Right.
Originally, the referee didn't make that call, but the VAR guys got in his ear and said, hey, you got to look at this. So he looks at it, and, obviously somebody caught somebody on the foot, but this is after Egypt scores an incredible transition goal. By law and the way that it's supposed to be applied, it was correct. So yeah, there's a lot of controversy, but there's also a little bit of, I know Egypt and their coach was highly upset, and he was all emotional and all over the place. But on the other hand, I look at it and go, yeah, but your team conceded 3 goals in 11 minutes when you were winning. Are we going to look at that? So now it's a grave injustice. It's bad for soccer. Nah, it's not, because it was actually applied fairly. Same with Switzerland. They had an issue in their game with Mbolo getting sent off, and Mbolo made a very silly play, carrying a yellow card and then trying to put his leg off another player and make it look like he was fouled. So human error, controversy, it's all part of it. How about the ball hitting the cable, the TV cable? Forgot about that one. So I don't think you can play this many games without some controversy. But it is kind of ironic, because you're using technology to improve things, and I think it has even brought more, in some ways, more problems.
Glenn Davis, who worked a good chunk of the World Cup calling games on the international feeds. Soccer Matters is his long-running podcast. Follow him on X at Glenn Davis Soc, S-O-C. Glenn Davis, SOC. All right. Spain's given up 1 goal this whole tournament. France has scored 2 or more goals in 4 of the 5 matches they've played. What gives today?
Yeah, this is a spectacular one. This is really going to be interesting. So Spain is tremendous with the ball. Their possession game's tremendous, and it's going to have to be tremendous, I think, today against France, because as we were just talking, France is this incredibly explosive team. It's got all the big names up front: Mbappe, Olise, Dembele, Doué. All these guys on their own can pick a ball up and run with it and create a goal, or in a repress get a ball and score a goal. So one of the ways to nullify them is to have the ball, and that's certainly something Spain has got to do today, because I have a worry if the French front four gets in and around the Spanish backs like Laporte and Kubarsi, they could be very, very effective. This is a powerful, quick, lightning fast group of guys up front for France, and they can break out in the blink of an eye like we were just talking about. And they could be physically too much for Kubarsi and Laporte, who are the 2 center backs of Spain, to deal with. So it's going to be interesting. It's also going to be interesting if Spain, is a little less aggressive with their outside backs getting forward to protect their 2 center backs against those 4 guys. So it's kind of, for me, it's Spain trying to control the match, keep it a little bit slower through ball possession, and then it's dealing with the French individuals. One guy I think you have to also really be conscious of is Rodri, the kind of controlling, holding midfielder for Spain. Exceptional player. The way he moves, how much of the ball he gets, is a real clear signal on how well they're doing. And then last but not least for Spain, it's time for Lamine Yamal to step up in a big way. The 19-year-old had a good game against Belgium, had a lot of attempts on goal, but didn't score goals. It's time for Lamine Yamal to step up for Spain and get him over the hump and get him into the final.
And then tomorrow, Argentina and England. We all know the story with England. Obviously, Argentina just winning this, but Messi, Harry Kane, it's more than the 2 of them, obviously. But when you see that game, what do you see?
Wow. First thing I look at is the navigation of these tournaments and the ups and downs that both those teams had, right? England broke out of the gates big like we did with the U.S., and they had 2 games where they're getting criticized and they look conservative, pragmatic, and then they go to Mexico, and they go into Azteca Stadium, and they go into a place where it's hard to breathe. Trust me, I used to go down to Mexico a lot. I couldn't even sleep down there. And they put in that performance with 10 men. And that was one of the greatest performances. And I'm not talking about aesthetics, but from desire and competitiveness I've ever seen. I wondered what they were going to do in their game after that, because they put so much mental and physical capital into that. And they get the result and they move on. So I think it's that. There's a lot of them right now that are saying, we've just got this incredible desire to win this. And then there's Argentina, right, who have had to come back in games. They've got to deal with Bellingham and Harry Kane, and Bellingham powering through the middle and coming from late. England's the more direct, powerful team, I would say, in transition. Argentina's going to try to employ their kind of controlled style with that man named Leo Messi. They've got the experience of being champions. They never panic. They fight for their flag as hard as anybody does in their country. So this is a tough one to call, honestly. I don't really know where to go with it, but I do know it's going to be a great game, and there's just so many really good storylines. How much pressure can you get, on Leo Messi if you're England, right? Like, how do you take the edge off of him and control him? So England will want to stay compact against them, but it's going to be a special game, I think.
We got about a minute. I just feel that goals are going to be scored in that game. Where France Spain could be a 1-0 game. There's a part of me that almost wonders, do you have to get to 3 to win the England Argentina game? Because both nations have been able to score. Their stars, I think, have combined for like 15 goals, and they've both been able to score really late. I just get the sense that that's going to be a high scoring match.
Well, it certainly could be. I don't, you got players like Harry Kane and Leo Messi on the field, Julian Alvarez, who, by the way, scored an incredible goal in the last match. It could be. These things are interesting to me because a lot of times I've made predictions, and if you got Elise, Dembele, Doué, Mbappe, and players like Lamine Yamal on the field,
Yeah.
you might say, yeah, there's got to be goals scored in this. There's just too many individual talents. But nobody knows. Sometimes you're gripped on the day of the game. Sometimes the tactics slightly change and it alters things. If there's early goals in the France game, there could be, it could open the door to a lot of goals.
Glenn, as always, thank you very much. Enjoy the semifinals, and we'll talk soon. Glenn Davis on the World Cup.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
Buying
sound.
or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
David, what did we talk about first segment that hour? Do you even remember? I know what we did second segment. I know what we did third segment.
Yeah, I got it right. The ratings for
That's
this-
right. Okay.
for Saturday. It's funny, Sonny. What I was thinking of, if England makes the final, doesn't William have to get on a plane and show up? And the funny thing is, I think whether William shows up or not, I think Harry needs to go. But I don't think England has made the final in William's lifetime.
A lot of sports for Kate if she comes with them, and she was just at Wimbledon. I think they should host a watch party. That would be better.
What's that commercial? Is it AT&T talking about, the whole neighborhood? They end up having a big series of watch parties. They all supposedly don't know each other, but as long as you have good internet, the party will be a smash. Well, I will say this, Happy Joy. Kane and Trump have played golf together.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so if England makes the final, I don't know if the president's planning on going to the final, but I mean, if you're Fox, you can't lose. You're either going to get the England story or you're going to get the Messi
You don't lose.
story.
The other one doesn't, and I'm guessing you'd probably rather have France because people know Mbappe. I mean, if you were to, but I don't think it matters. This is who do the Bears, who do the Cowboys get in the Super Bowl? You know what I mean? It's like, whatever.
Right.
Norway treats all youth sports different, Paula. Most countries do. We are very different. But go watch Seaton from the Dan Patrick Show's comments about how to run academies. I did not realize this. In Spain, the biggest academy is run by a beer company. It's all free, and the company's like the size of the Boston Beer Company that has Sam Adams.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home, at least if you're in Jacksonville and Tampa St. Pete. Final hour of the show. Many other places like Southwest Florida, like Live Oak, Lake City, Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, Venice. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Poll question. So what are you watching tonight? World Cup this afternoon or All-Star game?
And I get you can watch both. So we did levy it as what are you most excited about? Because obviously they are at very different times. You can clearly watch both. I don't even know if I'll watch the All-Star game tonight. I might put it on. Some of these pitchers are fun to watch their inning. That can be worth it. And to see which hitters can get some of these pitchers. I do love the guys that don't mess around and I'm throwing fastballs. If you hit them, great. I'm not, there's nothing breaking. There's no sliders. I'm throwing heat for 1 inning. Hit it. It's an all-star game.
Is Mizorowski going to pitch? Okay, because everybody's nursing a little bit of an injury, especially if you're on a good team. Like Schlittler from the Yankees decided on his own. He said he couldn't sleep Saturday night, and he went to Boone and just said, I've decided I'm not going to pitch in the All-Star game. Okay, so I guess he's the emergency pitcher for the AL, that he's there, he's on the team, but he's the one extra guy in case it goes 10.
Fair enough. I may watch the intros. I've always liked the all-star intros. It's just, I think it's fun to see who gets booed, who gets cheered, who gets, I'm a big Justin Verlander guy. Obviously the time he spent with Detroit, I know he's back there not doing much. He got put on in the legends category or whatever. This is his swan song. I'd like to see that. I think that'll be neat, for lack of a better term. So there are a few things I want to see. I mean, I thought about the home run derby last night. I dumped my Netflix subscription and it wasn't worth. I know there's one with commercials you could get for $9. It was $20 a month. I'm like, am I really going to pay $20 to watch the home run derby? And I went, no, I can go a couple more months without Netflix. I've got enough other shows I'm watching on other streaming services I'm currently paying for.
Well, and I guess your big decision, your next one, is are you going to pay to get Netflix for the second game of the NFL season,
right?
Australia game, or are you going to jam in? Because don't they have, is it the Black Friday game or do they have the Wednesday game right around Thanksgiving? And then obviously they've got Christmas. So you might be able to get 3 or 4 Netflix games with a 1-month subscription if you time it perfectly.
Right. You've got the week 1, and then you've got Thanksgiving, Packers, Rams. You've got Christmas Day, Packers, Bears, and Bills, Broncos. See, yeah, I think if you wait until literally, that's going to be close. If that would be, it's the 25th and 25th because they've got Thanksgiving Eve. They'll get you for 2 months. And then they've got another game on January 9th. They've got a final regular season game. So that's, they might get me for 2 months. They might get me from Thanksgiving weekend through January. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to be okay missing Niners and Rams. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how many times the wife wants to watch. If we run out of stand-up routines on Amazon Prime, we could make the move. But I wanted to talk about something, David, that's been on my mind for a couple of days. And there's part of it that I don't have a problem with. I really don't. There's part of it that infuriates me. And it's about a trophy that you and I pay a lot of attention to. We pay more attention to it on this show than probably every national radio show combined. It's the Stanley Cup. And Carolina, they were the winners. Their owner owes David money. So he may be, maybe impartial when it comes to this conversation.
All the penny pinching he's now doing as the new owner of the Portland Trailblazers, it better be to pay me my $1,000
for the what is it? The AAAAF? What the hell?
It was just 2 A's.
Okay.
Yes, it was the AAF, and he bought the league for 7 weeks there, and I never got paid for the Atlanta-Orlando game that we did in Orlando on CBS.
Was there an L on it or just the AAF?
AAF.
AAF.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So anyhow, Tom Dundon is the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes. He owned the American that football league. He now owns the Trailblazers. And he is taking a lot of grief for what names he chose to put on the Stanley Cup. I've got to admit, when you look at Lord Stanley's Cup and you see the great teams of the 70s and 80s and into the 90s and how few people were on it, and then you go to this century and the latter part of this century, it's amazing how many more people get on the Cup. Yeah, the rosters have increased, but they've added everybody. And he added everybody, but he left a couple people off. And that's what I'm most bothered by. Apparently, all of his children are considered governors of the team. So he put 7 family names. He put apparently his wife and all 5 children on the Stanley Cup. That's a bit of a joke. But here's my thing here, David. It's his team. I don't know what to tell you. It's his.
It's not his cup, though.
I understand that. But the kid part, they're governors, whatever. The problem I have, the big problem I have, is that in order to do that, apparently you only get so many names. He left off one player who didn't play the minimum number of games in order to get on the Cup. He played in 30 some odd games. If you play in 41, you get on the Cup.
Or you have to play one of the I think it's one of the games in the finals.
Right. Joel Nystrom's his name. And again, that guy didn't make the cut. And they did put a player on who played one playoff game and appeared in 7 games after being acquired midseason. But the name I'm pissed about is Bobby Gorman. Bobby Gorman's a Carolina Hurricanes equipment manager. He's been with the team since 1993. You know, when they were in Hartford.
Hello.
He got a spot on the 2006 Cup when they won. So his name's on the Stanley Cup. Good. It should be. The fact that you put your kid's name on and not one of the equipment managers of the team means you know nothing about your team, sir. Nothing. The importance of the men who take care of that locker room are paramount to the team's success. Worked with a lot of hockey teams. We've talked about it on this show. The equipment manager is one of the most integral parts of a hockey team. I don't know about basketball. I don't know about football. I don't know about baseball. I think they all have importance because I know they all get tipped out substantially by the players. And I know in baseball, they've talked about the clubhouse guys. And in football, they talk about their equipment managers. And basketball, I don't really know. I can't say. I know in the other two, I've heard players tell stories. But in hockey, I worked in hockey for a long time. I know how important equipment managers are to players. This is a joke. The fact that Bobby Gorman's name's not on the cup with the Carolina Hurricanes is shameful, disrespectful, and it spits in the face of the Stanley Cup. Tom Dutton should be ashamed.
I can't believe that the NHL allowed him to put his family on the cup. And I mean that. It's not his cup. Okay? I mean, who's in charge of the Stanley Cup, Mark? The NHL. They hired, what's his face 34 years ago, and now he has an assistant. I mean, there are 2 people whose life's work is to take care of Lord Stanley. I can't believe they allowed it. And I'm dead serious about that. And yes, Mark, as you know even better than me, but I know because I know their significance in other sports. I mean, there are a lot of hockey players that think that the equipment guy is more important than their head coach. Now, maybe not on the Hurricanes because they do love Brindamore. But, just like there's a lot of baseball players that think the head trainer is outside of the roster, that he's the most important guy in the organization. Never mind the fact that these guys are trusted with secrets that even their families don't know. So it is disgraceful. But I'm also very disappointed that the NHL allowed it.
For the record, I was wrong. They're not governors of the team, the 5 kids. The Florida Panthers owner, Vincent Viola, had his wife and 3 children's names engraved on the cup in 24 and 25. They're all listed as alternate governors. The Red Wings in 97, 98, 02, and 08 had 9 members of the Ilitch family engraved, all serving as part owners or team vice presidents.
Nah, it's crap.
There is I'm just pointing out that there's a precedent.
I know. But
Again, the kid thing, whatever. Leaving the equipment manager off, I have a bigger problem with than putting the kids' names on there. I do.
this is where I think the NHL needed to get involved. It needed to get involved 30 years ago. And considering how much Gary Bettman likes to get involved, and also the reverence that the cup is held in. You know, there are a lot of players who won't touch the cup until they win it. Okay. And when their friends win the cup and they're with them and the guy goes here and they go, nope.
I've told the story about when we had the cup in Southwest Florida and we kept it in the safe and we brought it out. And both Frank Lapsley and I let our kids climb on it. When I told PK O'Hanley, who you mentioned about that, he screamed at me. Because I worked for a hockey team. He figured my kid was going to play hockey. He goes, now your kid will never win it. They take that seriously in that sport. The Hall of Fame and the NHL can review it. We'll see if they do. Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real. If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton. Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. All-Star game tonight, 8 o'clock on Fox. World Cup semifinal, France, Spain this afternoon, 3 o'clock on Fox. So which are you more excited about, more interested in? Whatever the adjective is that applies. The soccer or the baseball? That's our poll question. Vote accordingly. Not a good sign for baseball. Far more people seem interested in the soccer. And this is France and Spain.
Right. Tomorrow's the game that we think should do a pretty solid number. Now, obviously, as I've mentioned, you can watch both. I mean, 3 in prime time, so it's very easy to watch both. And, you know, I'm getting people in the text room and on the text line and in the chat room going, I'm just sick of soccer. So be it. I get it. Not all of you like it. You know, David and I have said for now almost 20 years next week, we're sports fans. We like it all. I don't watch tennis the way I used to. I used to love Wimbledon and watch from the early rounds on. I watched the men's final. The women's final, I forgot all about it, to be brutally honest. I mean, I had a damn NASCAR race on Sunday. I couldn't believe that.
Neither could I.
There's nothing else on.
I understand, but I was very surprised you didn't opt for, you know, a sitcom, for a comedy routine, for a drama.
The daughter and I were watching a movie. It was on another TV with no sound. I mean, I wasn't listening to it. Don't get that crazy.
I know, but I was just surprised it made the building.
But I just got criticized because you do have Netflix, and I was criticized. I was told I was cheap. Pony up, boys, if you don't have Netflix. How cheap are you? It's my $20. I got to be really honest with you. I don't need Netflix, and I certainly didn't need it for an exhibition of a home run derby. That's not sports. I don't need to watch that to do this show. It's not that important. And I don't know how important a single NFL game in September is for me to do this show. If it were the Bucks, the Jags, the Dolphins, then I'd be getting it for sure. If it were Florida State, Miami, the Gators, then I'm getting it.
There's actually a lot of people that are complaining about Netflix. And I don't just mean the coverage of last night's home run derby, but, you know, when they have original shows, they make you wait a very long time till the next season, longer than network television. Okay, there's a lot of people that criticize the shows that network does or Netflix does produce on their own. Okay, and obviously they've gone to $20 here. So, you know, that ain't cheap. Especially those of us who bundle. You know, I mean, now, I mean, my bill's almost $350 a month.
And I think this is a great opportunity to let people know one of the reasons why I don't have Netflix is because we need sponsors. And if you're interested in sponsoring the show, and part of that requirement is me having a subscription to Netflix, we can include that in your package. Text sponsor to 21,000 for more information. So Spain, France today, Argentina, England tomorrow, 3 o'clock. A couple of people had complained about the start times, and man, did you guys unload on them. Someone made the comparison on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line saying, Thursday and Friday of the tournament, the game started at noon. You don't seem to complain about that. And others said, you know, from the 9 o'clock start in Europe or in England for the, I guess, no, in Europe, because in England it'll be 8 o'clock. You know, our finals routinely start at 9 and after 9. The NBA for years was at 9. They're earlier now. They're like 8:30. College football national championship seems to never start much before 9 p.m.
Well, the last couple of years they've moved the final and the semis up.
Yeah,
'Cause but it's only been in the 2020s
right.
that they did it. So, but yeah, the fact they moved the college basketball final up an hour. It used to be 9:20. Now it's closer to 8:30.
Football
So-
national championships a lot earlier than it used to be. But you're right. There was a time that 9 o'clock was a normal start time. They have really, you're right, David. Monday Night Football's earlier. I mean, that for years, that was 9 o'clock.
Well, in fact, to show how much our viewing habits changed, so it was forever at 9, and then one of the years that it was Al and I think Dennis Miller and I think it was Fouts, but they went to 8 o'clock for a couple years, and people actually complained, and they moved it back to 9. Now, obviously, now they've settled on 8 o'clock with kickoff sometime between 8:15 and 8:20. But, I mean, think about that. Moving the start time up and having more people complain than applaud it. And that was like at the beginning of the century. Early 2000s, I think they did it. Now, we loved it. When I say we, I worked at an ABC local affiliate at the time. And, I remember a Jets-Dolphins game. We didn't get out of there at almost 2:30. So, we were thrilled when they moved it up an hour.
David watched the Home Run Derby more for what Netflix did. And David, we just got a texture, and we know people jump in and out of the show throughout, and you started the show, and this guy basically said exactly what you said at 6:01 this morning. I watched all of the Home Run Derby, nothing else on. All I can say is this: the coverage was kind of trash. Camera angles were weird. The graphics works. They would jump back and forth from a crotch shot of the hitter, then all of a sudden you're flying in a drone. Wasn't great. So that was your take, too, that you thought the Netflix coverage of it was poor, to say the least.
Right. The new formula people seem to like, where you just get X number of swings. I think it was 20 in the first round and 15 in the semis and final. So, you had to be judicious with your swings. But that I liked. That I thought, I read something during a commercial break in which somebody was critiquing it, and they said the 20 swing first round didn't create the anxiety, the pressure. It seemed lacking. The last 2 rounds, for whatever reason, I felt the tension. I felt the pressure of seemingly having to homer on every swing. And, so he even wonders, should they reduce it in the first round to 15?
Well, I would equate that, David, and no one's really made the golf home run derby comparison before, but the first round's kind of Thursday and Friday. Get yourself to the cut, and
Right.
then the pressure's on. And then but I liked the idea of it going to swings and reading. The players liked it for the fact that guys said by the time thing, they're swinging so hard so many times that by the time they were at the end, they were tired.
Yes.
That's a lot of swings, that they were just gassed. And the first round, a lot of times in the timed event, the first and second rounds would be better than the final. And last night they got a good semi and they got a really good final, with Walker coming back and beating Schwarber on his last swings. And he did it to Caminero in the round before. So that part seemed to work. Whether the coverage did or not, that's up to you guys who watched it.
It was also a cool atmosphere because the Philly fans were rooting vehemently against Walker and for Schwarber, and before that Harper. And so it was cool to watch the St. Louis Cardinal with 43,000 people booing the heck out of him all night, and yet he got the job done. That was kind of cool. And he had mom and dad there to see it, wearing his jersey. Seemed like a family thing. Looked kind of cool.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
No, I mean majority of sports fans in America, Tim. I mean, the numbers for this World Cup are through the roof. And there is no number two. Tim, we get it. Football's number one. I get it. What I'm trying to say is you just said for most of America. For most of America, yes, because here's the thing, Tim. Most of America aren't sports fans, or the numbers would be even higher. I mean, the World Cup game between Mexico and England did what an NFC and AFC championship would do in this country. So actually, the sports fans are watching this. You're not. That's your choice, man. That's fine. I get it. It's not for everybody. But people are watching this in huge numbers, bigger than the NBA, much bigger than baseball. I know football's king. But Jesus, it's July, man. I don't know what we can do to break down football in July. When we do it, I get yelled at by other people. Why are you talking about football in July? They don't play for 2 months. You guys are tough, man. You guys are really tough. It's something. Now, I meant the majority of sports fans in America because the numbers are huge and the numbers show that people are watching this. That's why we're talking about it, Tim. I get that you might not like it. I understand. It is every bit you're right. We know. Historic ratings for this. Historic. People are watching in droves. The sports fan is watching. And I hope it's just the NFL you're into, because I'm telling you right now, the college football schedule in September sucks. You got 2 games week 2. You got maybe, if Clemson's good, you got a game week 1.
There's nothing week 0, right?
No, bad golfer. I understand that. But when they tell me what my job is, then I take offense, bad golfer. Okay. That's I like I said, you are all individuals. You can all have your opinions are great. But when you tell me how to do my job and how people don't care, I can prove you wrong. The World Cup numbers are ginormous.
Oh, come on, guys. If you're going to be sarcastic, you got to include something in it. An emoji, an LOL. I mean, come on. How do we know you're being sarcastic with just words on a paper when you don't write it in a sarcastic way?
There isn't a sarcastic font, unfortunately.
Yeah, but an LOL will work.
I know. I was being sarcastic.
I should just stay out of it. I'm sorry.
I mean, Clemson, LSU, week 1. That's it. That's it. Now, it's not Notre Dame's fault that Wisconsin sucks. It's not. That Louisville, Ole Miss, okay. Hopefully it'll be a good game. But I'm not banking on it. SMU, Florida State on Labor Day. If Florida State would hold up their end of the bargain.
Oh, and plus that's also a conference game, so in a way it doesn't count. But yeah, I hear you.
But until we get to conference games, when we get, it's a rough September. It really is. If Clemson's good, Happy.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. We'll make our picks for the Open Championship tomorrow. Who are you rooting for? Like, if you could just pick a winner.
Hatton. I love watching his antics on the course. He makes me smile. He reminds me of the every golfer.
5 a.m. Thursday, Eastern Time. Scheffler, Hatton, and DeChambeau. So, poll question. Bryson going to make the cut? Yes or no? My goodness, what a bad year he's had.
Yeah, I mean, boy, is Bryson going to make the cut? Yes, no, I don't care. It's gotten to that point with Bryson. He's a YouTube guy, but he's played so bad. I don't even think about him heading into this tournament. Like, he isn't in the top 15 guys I would name that I want to watch. If he plays well, I'm in. I like him when he plays well. I like watching him, but he's been a train wreck.
Right. But you just said, if all of a sudden he shows up this week and he brings his game, you'd be right back on the train. So, I mean, you do care about him. He's failed. He's let you down.
Yeah, he's not top of mind, I guess is what I'm saying, David. When I'm thinking about the Open, the fact that his odds are what they are laughable to me.
But I'm curious, are you rooting for him, though?
I wasn't even, David, if he plays well, I will, but I wasn't even thinking about him. Like, I mean, Hatton's a live guy, so this isn't a PGA thing. Like the guy that just won the Scottish. I said it on Monday. I like Tom Kim. He's fun to watch. Gotterup's an interesting story heading into this week. He's playing really well.
Again. That would
be fantastic to see. I thought your point yesterday is interesting in that this tournament with the weather and they're not supposed to be a factor and you don't have to be a long hitter to win over there brings so many players into the week. So I'm not one of those that needs a Scheffler or a Rory to be on top of the leaderboard for me to enjoy this tournament. I like it when they're there and someone beats them, actually. I loved it when, it happened it happened like what, twice? Where a guy stared Tiger down and actually beat him in a major when he was there?
Y.E. Yang,
Yeah.
famously at the 09 PGA, and not many times. I mean, Phil tracked Tiger down when he won the British in 2013, but didn't happen many times.
So
greatest finisher in the history of the sport.
I'm interested in Scheffler this week. I don't find him interesting, but the fact that he missed the cut last week and didn't hit it well and, hasn't hit it great all year and still was top, 5 in all the other 2 majors leading up to all 3 majors, right?
I believe so.
So, how's he going to play? And he's, by his standards, he's had a bad year. That's the funny part.
His short putting and his iron game, not what it's been the last few years. And yet you're right. He's, top 3 in the FedEx Cup standings, still number 1 in the world. What are the odds, by the way? You and I had a little friendly wager late last week. I thought Rory would be the betting favorite, and you said, no, it's going to be Scheffler.
And it's Scheffler. I mean, they're close, but Scheffler's the betting favorite.
Gotcha.
They're 7-1, 8-1, but Scheffler's the favorite. Then Fitzpatrick and Fleetwood are 14-1. Your guy Rahm's 20-1. Xander Schauffele 25-1. And then
you mentioned a guy that I would love to see win, Fleetwood.
Robert McIntyre, Cameron Young, Ludwig Oberg, Hovland, Wyndham Clark, Morikawa, Justin Rose, Goddard and Hatton are all 30-1.
Did you see Hovland tee off final round of the Scottish Open? Did you see the crowd? They did the Norway boat chant, and they were rowing the boat as he was walking off the tee.
Whit Watson mentioned Haitong Lee and how well he played over there last year. I wouldn't bet on him to win, but he's 250-1 to win. He's like 14-1 for a top 10. For a guy that's played well in a couple of majors, those are pretty decent odds.
You've mentioned a couple guys, and I don't think you mentioned this one. Like people that, when I asked you, like, who are you rooting for? Not who you're picking, not who you're betting on, but golfers that you're rooting for. And you said first one that came to mind for you was Hatton. Okay, you're like, God, I would love to see him win one of these, particularly this one. Justin Rose.
Yeah, he's 30-1. I mentioned him in that. He's in that big group of 30-1.
Right. I said that. That would love to see Hovland, Fleetwood, Rose. That would love that. Trying to think of the American.
I root for Shane Lowry in just about every tournament. He's a guy I'd love to sit down and have a beer with. Looks like he's a riot. So, I mean, anytime he's in, he played well last week in Scotland, and he's a good player, and I don't know if I'd bet on him to win, but he's another guy that you get decent odds on for a top 10. Mingwoo Lee, the Australian, he's a solid player. So, if you could pick if they took everybody 30-1 and you could take the rest for a number, I think I'd do it.
I am rooting for Spieth. That would, if Spieth were able to put it together this week and play 4 rounds instead of the 2.5 to 3 that he's been piecing together for a while now, I could get into Jordan Spieth on the first page of the leaderboard come Sunday, because he's the closest thing to Seve and Phil that we've seen on the course, where it could just hit it all over the place and still score and give us play-by-play and color commentary while doing it.
And I think he'd have his phone with him. Some match bets that to look at, this is the kiss of death here, but this seems like easy money to me. DeChambeau, Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed's minus 120, Bryson's even money. How could you not take Patrick Reed right now? How could you not?
Now, see, it's funny. When he was on the PGA Tour, was not a fan. And I know he's not a good person. But now that Captain America went LIV and is going to sit out a year and is coming back and is back to playing really good golf, it's funny. Now, if he was on the first page of the leaderboard come Sunday, I'd be rooting for him, even though he's still not a good person. Okay. But now I think it's also part of he was Captain America and we seem to just fall apart in these team competitions now. And I want him on the next Ryder Cup team. I really do.
Well, he's played well this year over in the DP. He's represented himself well in the majors.
Yep.
And as you know, Ryder Cup points are doubled in the year of the event. So if he comes on tour and plays well, he's going to have a legitimate shot. Some more match bets. By the way, Morikawa got her up. Morikawa, slight favorite. I think I'd take Goddard even money. You mentioned Spieth. He and JT. That's a match bet. JT, the favorite in that one. Hovland and Rose, another match bet that you can play.
Wow.
Right. I mean, I think they've done a nice job. Matt Fitzpatrick, John Rahm. I'd take Fitzpatrick. Don't even care what the numbers are.
Yeah, he's playing too well.
They've got a McIlroy Scheffler bet. They've got a Robert McIntyre Cam Young bet. So there are some fun heads up match bets, which is a different way to, if you're going to gamble on the Open, to not just pick a winner. You can play a head-to-head between two guys and, at least give yourself a 50-50. I mean, obviously they can tie. It's like rolling green and roulette, but because you lose on that one too.
I'd love to see Koepka, be there on Sunday. Because then I think, because he's got two of the majors, he's got the Open and he's got the PGA. All right. I think he's got 5 years to win a Masters. He's mid-30s. I think his game, he's come close a couple times. Took the lead into Sunday once and was right there when Tiger won in 2019, I think it was. Okay. So I'd love to see him get a British, because then I think he'd have a real shot at the career Grand Slam. And also, I think it'd be number 5.
I just don't think he has the game anymore, but that could be me. I think it's going to take a while for him. The live experiment has proven for most of these guys to hurt them competitively. There's no way. Yeah, yes, DeChambeau won, but I mean, like, Rahm was right there as the best player in the world when he left. He's good, but not great anymore, if you know what I mean. He's not elite compared to the Schefflers and the McIlroys.
Yeah,
so
the consistency for a lot of those guys has disappeared.
And I just wonder, for Koepka, does it take, a couple of years on the PGA Tour to get that back, or does it ever come back? Did the ease of the check you got from Liv affect you forever on the PGA Tour? That's what I wonder. So we shall see. But British Open, Thursday morning, what'd you say, like 1:30 Eastern time, the first tee times?
The very first tee time is 1:35 a.m. Eastern time. Scheffler tees off just before 5 a.m. Rory at 10:15 a.m. Eastern.
So that's the British Open this week, or the Open Championship. And I'll do my best to stay online with David for those shows. But Peacock early coverage for those of you that can't sleep. USA Network round 1 starts 2 hours before we do on Thursday and Friday. And then NBC starts 7 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. You can get the first couple hours on USA if you're up very early on the weekend to watch the first groups go off on Saturday and Sunday. So network coverage, Peacock's got all of it, of course, but NBC and or USA is where you can go over the air for all of your Open coverage. Peacock exclusive from 1:30 to 4 a.m., both Thursday and Friday Eastern.
By the way, my apologies. I had Koepka with 2 PGAs and 2 U.S. Opens, but after winning back-to-back PGAs in the teens, I forgot about the one he won 3 years ago, right before he won LIV. So he's got 5 now.
Yeah, I'll set the over-under at 5.5. And I think it's under.
Okay.
I would bet on under.
And I would take the over. I think he's still got 4 or 5 years, and I think that he'll play nothing but better golf for the next couple of years. Back on tour regularly.
People like him, so I hope you're right. He's a popular golfer. It'll be interesting, and I think the golf fans come back to him. Will they come back? How long will it take him to come back to a Rahm if he comes back on tour? Bryson has people who like him and people who don't like him. I don't see that changing much. But it'll be an interesting transition if Live indeed dies. You know, apparently Bryson's out there trying to pitch to keep it going. Rahm has said he may fund part of it himself. I think it's a bunch of hogwash, but maybe they're not getting the olive branch from the tour they wanted, and they're doing anything to keep this afloat.
Well, also, if they keep it afloat, like DeChambeau's contract is up. And I believe Rahm's still under contract after this year. So if they keep it going, you know, there's some coin in it for both of them.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe. and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Well, that was strange. My microphone just fell out of its little holder here. This is not good. I think I need a new arm.
Oh. By the way, Sonny, it'd be interesting because like Podrick played so well over in the States in a couple of senior events, you know, dominated the weekend in the Senior Open. I think he then went and played in the Scottish Open last week and missed the cut. You know, there's a big difference between the junior circuit and the senior circuit.
listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour, the pro hour, the final hour of Miller and Moulton on this Tuesday. Thanks so much for being with us. Kicking it around. It's a slower week. World Cup semis, 3 o'clock today, 6 hours from now in Dallas, France and Spain. And then 11 hours from now, the All-Star game. Both events on Fox. Hey, I think, Mark, you and our audience, they know where I come from concerning off-the-field stuff. If it's violence against women or children, I'm 99% no way will I give you a second chance at all. In fact, I'm trying to think of the circumstance in which I would give that person a second chance. But I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of the New York Jets front office. Have you been paying attention to all this Geno Smith stuff that's going on?
David, first off, not just Geno Smith, and we'll get to that. Give me 10 seconds, because there's been one team out there that has said they're interested in Arnold, the guy who might go to prison for the rest of his life, the Lions corner. That team's the New York Jets. Now, I know they need players, and I know Aaron Glenn coached him in Detroit. But that's not something I want to go public right now, David. not if I'm the Jets, I'm serious. Like, so get to your point. But I mean, on top of, Geno got popped again. What, for speeding? I mean, this last one was speeding, right? He was doing 25 plus in a neighborhood.
I think in the last 3 months, so that's the off season, I believe Geno Smith has been pulled over 3 times in which he's been going at least 25 miles an hour over the speed limit all 3 times. And one of them was just egregious. Now, we can get into, how does he still have a license? Okay, why is he still allowed to drive? Listen, maybe he doesn't. I don't know those particulars. I don't know if not only was he speeding, but if he also broke the law because he shouldn't legally be driving. I don't know that. But, Mark, sometimes we as media and we as fans, when we get carried away about certain off-the-field things, and I'm usually one of those saying to our listeners, guys, you got to trust me on this. This is not going to affect so-and-so at all. It's not. This is just something fodder during the week before the game is played, blah, blah, blah. But, and I'm fearful, Mark, of sounding like Colin Cowherd talking about Baker Mayfield back in the day. The whole, I don't trust people who wear their hat on backwards.
Well,
that tells me he's not a leader. He's not an adult. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And Colin was made to look a little foolish with those comments. A little. And there's a part of me that wonders, am I going to get burned if I say anything about this? But I got to be honest. I'm concerned. What the hell? First off, just if you were a cornerback, I mean, dude, you got to stop breaking the law.
Well, here's the thing. Someone quickly in the Twitch chat room says, locally here, everybody goes 20 miles over the speed limit. And I think that's an accurate statement from time to time. Not everybody, but I get it. I live on a road where people race. The police are on my road constantly pulling people over because people are doing routinely 15 miles over the speed limit all the time. Hell, I've done it. But here's the thing. I went through a little run where I got 3 traffic tickets in a pretty short amount of time. A couple, 3, 4 months, 5 months, whatever it was. I actually got a letter at the time from the company that I worked for that said, 1 more ticket, you could no longer drive company vehicles. At which point I really started driving fast because then I didn't have to drive them to the remotes that I had to go to. God, that van was awful. But I digress. I did slow down after I got 3 tickets, and not because of the letter from work was part of it, but 2, I get another ticket, I might lose my damn license. And I have a lead foot. I'll be the first one to admit it. I've got this stupid app that my daughter made me get so we can all see where one another are. And it lists who the riskiest driver was of the week. I win that award even though my wife drives 5 times more miles per week than I do. And I'm reminded of it by both my daughter and my wife on a weekly basis. But when you get popped twice for tickets in 2 weeks, don't you then slow down? And now the last ticket said he was driving without a license. It doesn't say whether or not it was suspended or he just didn't have it with him, which happens. We've all left the house and gone to the store and go, oh crap, I left my wallet. It happens. So I'm not even going to get into that.
Right.
But doesn't, for the average American, if you get 2 tickets in 2 weeks, wouldn't you slow down? Not to mention you're the quarterback of an NFL football team.
Well, that's what I got in the back of my mind here going, does it matter that he's a quarterback? Would I tolerate this if he was a defensive back? But
And
because
he didn't even go to Georgia.
boom. I mean, Mark, there's a part of me that wonders if Kirby Smart would even say something to him. Has he done that much? But to stop practicing.
It's not the tickets that even bother me. The tickets are one thing. This is coming off of a perhaps domestic violence issue.
Well, exactly. That's what I was going to throw on top of it. We've got all these. By the way, he's driving an Aston Martin. The last ticket, he not only got ticketed for not having his license on him, but he was doing 70 and a 45. He's had improper registration. He's had other speeding. By the way, I said 3 months, it's been 4. This goes back to March for what it's worth. But it's the off season. And remember, the Jets went out and got this guy. I'm just wondering, if you were the front office of the Jets, do we have to start preparing for a different quarterback? Are we going to quietly cut him loose? I'm just wondering. I mean, and by the way, domestic battery, or what Terrion Arnold was arrested for.
Whoa. Look it, David, they're separate. One guy might go to prison for the rest of his life.
I understand.
Kidnapping. I mean, come on now. I mean, domestic violence is horrible. I'm not condoning it in any sense way, but the one's a felony. Several.
I understand.
That one's worse.
But if you're running a football team, okay, is there a difference?
Is there a difference if you're running a football team?
You're running a team.
Between those two, maybe not. Maybe not, because
Right.
I understand where you're at with domestic violence. That's we all know you can't do that.
Right. And that's a non-starter with
But Bede, he's been accused. He's not been arrested. Right? I've got that right. There's no charges on the domestic violence, I believe. So
I'm looking it up to be sure. Don't want to be wrong about this.
right, I don't either. And
No, it's an investigation into alleged domestic violence battery.
okay, so I'm not even condoning that. That's a red flag with me. But accusations,
Right. No doubt. Listen,
felony arrest,
Right.
there's a big leap between those two.
okay. Although, if he gets charged with domestic violence, if you're the Jets, can he continue to be your quarterback?
I don't think so. I don't.
I mean, there's a part of me with the Jets, and I know the Terrion Arnold charges are really bad. But, if you go by the innocent till proven guilty, could you then sign Terrion Arnold? And can he then play for your team until he's found guilty or pleads guilty in some way? I mean, that's what I've always wondered, especially in college. You know, we come down on these programs and these coaches, and it's like, well, it's one or the other. Either the minute you get charged, that's it, you're done, or do we have a set policy where no, we adjudicate everything out, and if he's found guilty or pleads guilty, then yes, he's obviously done. So I just, but back to, you know, how concerned would you be if you're you're the second year general manager of the New York Jets, and boy, did last year go so swimmingly.
Well, and if you're the second year coach of the Jets, what are you asking for behind the scenes? Because your ass is on the line. You don't turn this thing around. And I'm not saying you've got to be 500, but this team has to show a definite improvement. He's a defensive guy. He was a cornerback. He played for you, and your team didn't have an interception last year. This team has to make some monumental improvements. I don't care about the record. They got to look like a football team this year, or he's gone.
I'll try to be a little snarky here. So our New York Jets poll question, what do the Jets need to have more of this year, wins or interceptions? Boom.
Well, you know what can't be first? Arrests.
Right. I'm just curious, you know, how concerned are you about Geno Smith right now if you're running the Jets? And are you concerned enough to be having meetings about, so what's our plan B? Because I have a feeling we're going to have to use it.
I definitely think it's being talked about, because this was just supposed to be a bridge anyhow.
Right.
I mean, this was just the guy until they found the guy in this year's draft.
I mean, if you're the Jets, are you calling the Niners up and making a serious offer for Mac Jones?
That's fascinating, because I wouldn't do it at the Niners at this point with Purdy's injury history, I need to have Mac Jones behind him, because I still think I'm a team that can win the Super Bowl. I don't know if that's true or not, but they believe that. And then the other side of it is, at what point would you deal Mac Jones? Because you're going to lose him at the end of the year anyhow.
For nothing.
Exactly. The Pro Hour, and we're talking a little pro football. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller, or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
find it fascinating that, he's not playing golf anymore. He doesn't talk to the media. There's all kinds of stories, and he's not running to one hill to defend himself, EB. I mean, people who do investigation on the whole throwing his phone in carts and leaving there. I mean, there are all kinds of people who are saying that story's true. Maybe Phil isn't the great guy you always thought he was. He's always been a degenerate gambler. That's a known fact. Maybe Phil's not the good guy we always thought he was. I think the fact that he hasn't really said anything and everything's through his lawyers, incredibly interesting, to say the very least. And by the way, when Pablo Torre investigates, he's been right more than he's been wrong. He's one of the only ones left doing it in the business. He did a Pablo Torre finds out. He did it. Now, Shipnuck, the guy he had on that had all the information, is a noted Phil hater. The Hall of Fame. So, I mean, to say he has an agenda wouldn't be a stretch. But again, I mean, Phil seems to have more skeletons. Or put it this way, Phil seems a lot more like Tiger than we ever knew. That's all. David, do you remember what we did first segment last hour? I'm missing that one again, too. I'm not that smart today. I know what we did second, and obviously I know what we did third. I just don't remember what we did in the first hour or first segment. Was it Michigan?
No. Michigan, I thought was earlier. Much.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Seth Everett on the show tomorrow. think we'll have a golf guest on the show tomorrow. I'm thinking Tommy Smith for Friday when we know what the final is and we can get Tommy to break down the World Cup final on Friday. So a couple more British Open guests, Tommy Smith on Friday. Also, I think I'm going to line up our play-by-play buddies, Andy Freed and
Kyle Seeloff
from the Marlins. So
That'd be
line
great.
them up. They both resume baseball on Friday. There's one game on Thursday. For some reason, the Mets and Phillies play Thursday. Everybody else resumes Friday.
They must be happy with that.
Oh, yeah, especially the Mets. You know, one of the 5 worst teams in baseball. And we have to start a day early? Great. It's fantastic.
Hell, I'd take any national baseball guy you can get, too, because I want to start. I mean, this is a fascinating month for Major League Baseball. We've been talking about it a while, and I by no means claim to be an expert on baseball. But I'm fascinated with the next 3 weeks. And from now until the trade deadline was, what, a week ago yesterday, right? Or a day ago, 3 weeks ago yesterday is the trade deadline.
Right, Monday, August 3rd.
I'm fascinated because there are more teams in it, I don't know about than ever before, but as many as that have ever been in it. But the American League is such a mess that, and we've said this, I've said it and we've said it for a month and a half. 2 good weeks in baseball, you're right back in it. Look at the Red Sox.
There you go.
Before,
There you go.
Look at the Astros. You know, the Tigers have played well for a couple of weeks. Are they back in it? They're close, but they're not there yet. They needed to take 2 or 3 from the Phillies, and then they could raise their hand. But the Marlins, all of a sudden, they got hot. They're a playoff team right now. The Cardinals have had a couple of bad weeks. They're not. The Pirates are one of the closest wild card teams in the National League. Why? They got on a little bit of a roll. So, as we get closer to this trade deadline, the play over the next 3 weeks is critical for what teams do. Like the Reds have blanked the bed here. The Reds should be sellers, but they come out of the break and go 10-2. Are they sellers? So I just think you and I like trades that make both teams better. We hate the new thoughts of a lot of gentlemen. I've got to win every trade. Well, sometimes that's not the way it goes. You can win and the other team can too. Like you mentioned with the White Sox yesterday and their Japanese hitter there, I don't think they'd ever trade with the Guardians, but it actually from a baseball sense makes sense, but it's in the division, so it probably won't happen. So I am just really interested, like so much so yesterday when I got an email about what the price of the baseball package was the rest of the way, I paused for just a moment. They've not the halfway price is not what it used to be for what it's worth. But the next couple of weeks in baseball are huge. What do the Yankees find out about Judge? Or do they know more than we know about when he's coming back?
I would argue that there are literally only 3 teams in the American League that are sellers right now. The Royals, the A's, and the Angels. And that the other 12 teams in the American League right now think that they're very much in it for a playoff spot. The last place team in the East is Toronto. All right. They're 2.5 games out of the final playoff spot in the American League.
Correct.
And obviously Baltimore's ahead of them. They're 2 back. Boston's ahead of them. They're 1 back. You know, the Twins and Seattle are tied for the final playoff spot. The Tigers are 3.5 behind the Twins in Seattle, 3 in the loss column. So they're in it. Houston's only 2 back. Okay, think about that. 12 of 15 teams that are all within 3.5 games of the playoffs. How can you not consider yourself in?
The National League, David, if you can there's only 4 in the National League. The Reds, Giants, Mets, and Rockies.
Yeah, the Nats are an interesting case because, like, you and I both think they're playing over their skis. Well, they're only a game below 500, and that's because they just got swept by the Yankees going into the break. But they're 4 behind the Marlins, and the Marlins own the final playoff spot. Here's the other thing about the Nats, Mark. You and I put a lot of faith in runs, plus minus. I think it surprised the hell out of me when yesterday I looked at the baseball standings and saw the Nationals were a plus team. I went, well, damn. I mean, the Phillies are a minus team, for
Right.
goodness
The
sakes.
Phillies are a minus team. David, do you know who scored the most runs in Major League Baseball this year? There's actually a tie right now. And I think it would shock the hell out of you. You got it in front of you, go ahead and say it. But I
Well-
don't think you knew it before I asked.
Well, I didn't know it. I knew the one of the two teams. We've talked about them all year, that they're fun. They score a lot of runs. That's the Nats.
Right. Do you know who they're tied with?
I was shocked.
The Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right. Right.
What the hell?
Exactly.
Like, you keep saying the Pirates need a bat because that's the way we've always thought. Hell, they might need, and their pitching's good. I don't know what they need. They might need a bullpen arm.
Or two.
Right. That's what
Right.
they need. So,
I mean, the Pirates have given up the second most runs in the National League, behind only the Rockies. How shocking of a stat is that? The Pirates with their pitching, and they're 14th in runs allowed in the National League. Okay. And if we switch over to the AL, okay, there's usually teams that can score more runs, and there's like 4 teams that have given up more runs. So think about that. The Pirates are 24th or 25th in baseball in runs allowed.
by the way, you said it, the American League, the Twins are the highest scoring team in the American League. The Twins. More than the Yankees.
Right.
So the Twins, who are tied with the Mariners right now, after selling off everything a year ago, as you pointed out before, they can't do it again. They can't be sellers.
So you got 11 teams in the National League who will start the All-Star break, and they will think they're in it. And you've got 12. I mean, do the math, right? That's what? 7 teams who think they're out of it?
Right. 3 in the
Seven?
AL, 4 in the NL. And I don't know if Cincy thinks they're out of it. They are, but I don't know if they think it. And it's tough when you look at what the Red Sox just did and say, well, we're out of it. What do you mean we're out of it? 2 good weeks, you're back in it.
Oh, exactly. There might be 2 or 3 teams who need to pull a Red Sox maneuver, but they have to pull it coming out of the All-Star break, or else they're sellers.
So the next 3 weeks of baseball, for me, I don't geek out over this sport the way that you do. I'm fascinated by the next 3 weeks in the major leagues. Fascinated.
I so desperately want the final National League playoff spot to come down to the Marlins and the Pirates. I don't know if there's a person in the country who's rooting for that besides me, but I am definitely rooting for that.
Well, I guess you'd want Cardinals Cubs every year if you're the television networks. But you've got Dodgers, Brewers, Braves, Cubs are the top 4 teams. Phillies are 5th. Right. They don't give a damn. But on the other side, right now, your 6 playoff teams are Rays, White Sox, Rangers, Yankees, Guardians, and the Seattle Mariners. Hello. They're wanting the Red Sox, Tigers, and Astros to have a hell of a second half. That's all I'm telling you.
And for Aaron Judge to get healthy.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
But the thing is, Bob, they don't have to keep it up, if you know what I mean. I mean, they did what they needed to do. Now, what do you got to do? Play 5 games above 500 the rest of the way, and you might be a playoff team? So it's not keeping it up. Now it's just maintaining where you are. So, I mean, and what do they need to, to be a 550 ball club the rest of the way? What are they willing to give up? Yeah, Tim, I feel sorry for Jets fans, with the exception of Greeny because he's annoying. But the rest of the Jets fans, I do feel sorry for them. That if that's the team you picked, it's like I told the story. My one cancer doctor, his kids are questioning it. They're now old enough to say, because he's from Miami and he lives in Tampa, and his kids are openly questioning him, Dad, why do we have to root for the Dolphins? I don't know, son. Why don't you root for the Bucks? Do something that I didn't do. Be smart. In fact, you could pick another team. Oh, she shut you out, didn't she? She locked you right out of the rest of the room. Well, come on up. Wow. Wow. The Bucks using the old man getting hit by the bison in a video on TikTok. Ugh. That's cringe, as the kids would say. I didn't realize that the best part, and I saw it but didn't realize.
Funny.
Whoa.
The man has
The best part, not the best part, the I guess the most ironic part of the video is, well, apparently the grandson, did anybody see what the grandson was wearing? Because they're taking photos, and the grandson had a jersey on. What jersey was it, Deadstroke? Come on, you can say it. It's okay. It's a Dolphins jersey. A Dolphins jersey. That come on now. Come on. You didn't tell him you're busy?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're done. Miller on this Tuesday. Thanks for being with us. Seth Everett tomorrow, Pat Kerwin on Thursday. Right now, planning on Tommy Smith on Friday to preview the World Cup final after the semis later today and tomorrow. Mark, before you do your thing, we were just talking a little baseball. Jeff Passan of ESPN is generally regarded as the best baseball reporter out there. All right. He's reporting this morning that for the first time, Rob Manfred has been able to get the owner's cooperation to allow the players to play in the Olympics.
Well, be nice if they play somewhere.
Apparently, there's issues, however, with the Baseball Players Association. So, we'll see. But apparently, Manfred finally has the votes on his side to allow it to happen. But obviously, everything in the world is being negotiated these days. The players have talked to anyone with a microphone. A lot of the big name players came out in the last 36 hours and said, a salary cap ain't happening in any way, shape, or form. Otherwise, we're open to any other idea they have. Okay.
One other thing I wanted to get to that I just find interesting. We've not talked about this at all, and it's not really a sport thing, but it's been made into a sport thing. By now, I'm guessing all of you have seen the bison at Yellowstone flip the man head over heels. And the guy had surgery. He's expected to recover. He was 65 years old. He was injured. So you can't make too much light of it because the guy got severely hurt.
Yeah.
But apparently you can make light of it, David, if you're an NFL team. Because I don't know if you're aware, but the Bucks posted a portion of the clip on their social music and then cut to Tez Johnson, the receiver, midair flip landing in the end zone. And the caption declares flipping out because it's almost football season. Now, the team that should be allowed to use it, as this article does point out, of course, the Buffalo Bills. Because, David, I don't know if you're aware of this part of it. Grandpa, who was flipped, was wearing whatever he was wearing. Grandson, David, was wearing a jersey. Do you know what team that the jersey was?
North Dakota State?
No, David. I just said the Bills. Take a good guess at what jersey the Bills, the Bison, flipped over the grandpa from. If you said the Miami Dolphins, you'd be correct.
Oh, my goodness.
So the Bills could do some big PR here. I'm inviting them to a game. I'm inviting the grandson to a game. And I'm giving the grandson a new jersey, or I'm letting someone run him over. I'm just saying.
Yeah, can you get it set up where you try to recreate it, only there's cushions everywhere so that grandpa can't get hurt?
The other thing in seeing Gramps in suspenders, I wouldn't mind suspenders making a comeback. There was a time, late 80s, that the belts were out with the suits and guys were wearing the suspenders. Can we make a push for the comfort, for suspenders to make a comeback? That's all I'm saying.
Wow. Of all the things for you claiming to go back 30, 40 plus years and bring back, okay, I mean, what's next? VHS?
Wow, look at you, Mr. Fashion over there.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1789, the French Revolution begins with the storming of the Bastille, now celebrated as Bastille Day, France's national holiday. 1853, President Franklin Pierce. Yeah, we had a president named Franklin Pierce. He opened the exhibition of the industry of all nations, the World's Fair, at the Crystal Palace in New York City. It's now the site of Bryant Park. Billy the Kid, shot dead today in 1881 by Pat Garrett. And Johnny Ringo, who was in Tombstone, was found dead today a year later. Had to read up on it to see if it was actually Doc Hollywood that shot him. No proof that that's the case. Wyatt Earp claimed he did it. No proof of that either. So there you go. Billy the Kid, that's one movie. Johnny Ringo, that's another. Watch a Western today. 1946, Dr. Benjamin Spock published Common Sense Book of Baby and Child Care. Kind of was the preeminent book for that forever. The first color telecast of a sporting event was today in 1951. It was on CBS, and it was a horse race. Today in 69, the United States takes the $500, $1,000, $5,000, and $10,000 bills are withdrawn from circulation. Since we don't use cash anymore, I don't see a need of any of them. I don't ever see the need. Do you got change for my $10,000 bill? Easy Rider, released also today in 69. 1973, at Royal Troon, Weiskopf goes wire to wire to win the British Open. I believe that's his only major. Right? Weiskopf's only major is the 73 British, right, David?
Yeah, finished four times, I think second in the Masters, but yep.
You know, disco was still big in 79. It was rounding out. But we could write songs about anything then. Apparently we can now, because the number one song in the land was called Bad Girls by Donna Summer. It's a song about prostitutes. 1982, the film adaptation of Pink Floyd, The Wall, is released. Fairly trippy. Mario Brothers, first released today in 1983. 1985, David, did you watch it? The last USFL game. Baltimore, the Stars, beat the Oakland Invaders 28-24.
Wait, wasn't Philadelphia the Stars?
Thought it was. This says Baltimore. I don't know. Did they switch?
Okay.
I'm just, yeah, you're right. Today in 89, When Harry Met Sally is released. Is that the top bar of the rom-com genre? Because it's a great movie. It's a phenomenal movie. Still plays today.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a medalist. Put it that way. As
gold medal.
rom-coms.
I think it's the gold medalist, unless there's a Chevy Chase Goldie Hawn movie out there that I'm missing. William Hanna, Hanna-Barbera, the cartoons. Woody Guthrie, Gerald Ford, and Lee Elder all would have celebrated birthdays today. Steve Stone is 79, pitcher and broadcaster. Robin Ventura, he got beat up by Nolan Ryan. He's 59. Darrelle Revis is 41, and Conor McGregor and his knee are 38. What did I miss, David?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. That makes it easy.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Yeah, Baltimore was the Stallions. Philadelphia was the Stars. So I don't know who played in the damn game because they got the wrong name there. For the good, we go to Philadelphia, where Matthew Cooper ran to 41 7-Eleven locations across the city on 7-Eleven to enjoy free Slurpees. 32 miles he ran for his Slurpees. His run helped raise awareness and support for the Students Run Philly Style, an organization focused on empowering local students. I went to 7-Eleven on 7-Eleven and got a Slurpee. Once the daughter figured out the date, she's like, Dad, it's 7-Eleven. We got to go. And I was going to let her just get one for herself. And I said, you know what? I haven't had a Slurpee in a while. For the record, I went cherry. For the bad, we go to Colorado, where U.S. Highway 36 was closed for several hours Saturday after a hit-and-run crash caused a fuel spill. Apparently, a Dodge Challenger and a Ford F-150 hit one another. The Challenger drove rather recklessly and hit the F-150. Both drivers fled the scene. A semi was hit as well. The semi driver pulled over. He wasn't hurt. When they caught up with the F-150, it had a vanity plate, and on one of the truck's doors, it had a sticker that said, and I quote, "You can't fix stupid." Well, I would classify hit and run as stupid, and you can't fix it. For the ugly, we go to Largo, Florida, where a 74-year-old Largo man was arrested last week after he intentionally drove his SUV towards another man in a dispute over, wait for it, a parking space. The victim then fired a single shot in self-defense for a parking space. The 74-year-old was booked in the Pinellas jail. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, the 14th of July, brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, hiring new officers, offering great pay, overtime, plenty of jobs available. If you're looking to be a cop in the Cape, you go to capecops.com, capecops.com.
2 soccer matches? No, actually 1. Semifinal, France and Spain, 3 o'clock on Fox. All-Star game, 8 o'clock. In Philadelphia on
France. Philadelphia was the Stars. They relocated to Baltimore for the 85 season.
Gotcha.
Memorial Stadium wasn't available. Jim Mora was the head coach, by the way.
Right. No, they had Chuck Fusina, quarterback. No, they had a good team. Didn't, when Michigan won the first title, didn't they beat Philly?
I don't know. The Panthers. I know their name. I can see their uniforms. I can't say I watched a ton of it. I do know that my high school ended up being named the Panthers when 3 schools merged on a vote, and I think it was largely because of the success of the Michigan Panthers.
That's when you know you're desperate for your football team to win, when you're naming things after your USFL team.
And we had the Titans and the Crusaders before that. So much better. So much better. I'm sorry. The Crusaders is a solid nickname for a Catholic school.
Agree with that.
So, yeah, I'll take France today. I I actually think it's better for the World Cup if France wins, unless this 19-year-old goes off and has a big game, because Mbappe's terrific. French's style is more fun, more pleasing to the eye than what Spain's is. So whomever they would play in the final, England or Argentina, that game against France, I think, is a more enjoyable game than Spain versus either of them. I don't think contrasting styles work in soccer the way they work in other sports, David, if you know what I mean. I think you want two teams that like to score as opposed to one that wants to play keep away and the other that likes to score.
Agreed. I'm not expecting much. I'd be thrilled with 2-1 today. That's how low scoring I think this could be.
You know, Happy makes a point in the chat room saying it's like watching basketball before the shot clock. Spain's North Carolina with Dean Smith in a lead in the second half. It's the four corners. It really is. And there was nothing enjoyable about that. Nothing at all.
No. In fact, looking back, I'm trying to figure out why was it so celebrated. Seriously, it's dreadful. Dreadful basketball. Not only that, with all the talent that he had on all those teams, you would think reducing the number of possessions would be the dumbest thing to do.
And you got to think they were paying players too, David, because why would you? I mean, like, seriously, you want to play in the league? Let's play a game in which we try not to score.
Right. Well, you know the old joke. The only person that could hold Michael Jordan under 20 a game was Dean Smith.
Not a doubt about it.
Hey, your guy in East Lansing, there are a few guys who have gone to the NBA and done a lot better than they were doing in college scoring.
I've been pointing that out for years on this
right?
show. I've been pointing that out for years. But he's the glue holding that whole place together, and they were able to keep their president. So we'll see. They're going to have an awful football team. I do know that. Miller and Moulton. Seth Everett on the show tomorrow. Magic numbers drop one on each side as we get closer and closer. Hell, we got Pat Kerwin in a couple of days. It's not too long before he leaves for training camp. Enjoy the semifinals and the All-Star game. We'll do it again tomorrow morning at 6.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
This is Miller and Moulton